It's time, 7 races down, and it's time to find out who is going to the playoffs and who is packing up their season a little bit early. It's round number 8 of the eNASCAR Heat Pro League from Daytona International Speedway under the lights. I'm Chris Wilner alongside Hannah Newhouse here at the Charlotte NASCAR Hall of Fame. Hannah, we've been building up to this for 7 races now, and it's all pressure all the time for some of these teams coming into the postseason. Are you excited to see who's going to make it and maybe who comes up a little short?
There's a lot of different scenarios that could play in tonight of who may be able to grasp that last position. It's a win and you're in. There's a lot of teams that may be a little bit lower on the point standings, but a win could lock them in and really mix things up. But what a place to do that, Daytona. We've talked about a lot of racetracks that could shake things up, could provide an underdog, a story, or an opportunity, but Daytona's the queen of them all. Anything can happen here.
Absolutely. You know, the drama of everything in the playoffs just gets amplified here at Daytona. And then to top it all off, some breaking news going into tonight's race.
What a way to shake things up. That breaking news, Fast Fed with Go Fast Gaming. Fast Fed is out at Go Fast Gaming. He is no longer in the league as Fast Fed violated a league rule that had nothing to do with competition. So we'll go ahead and bring Zane in. Zane, you've got a little bit more information on what has transpired in this breaking news with Fast Fed.
Yeah, guys, Fed, sad to say, it's a hard thing to talk about right now, but as of yesterday, Fast Fed of Go Fast Racing is no longer within the league. As you said, Hannah, great explanation. It was for situations off the track, not on the track, just mostly an off-track league policy that he broke, no longer part of the league. So it's kind of sad, is that it was like my kid. I like to say 28 drivers are kind of like my kids in the pro league here. I just had to send one of my kids home.
That's an unfortunate scenario, but definitely for Go Fast Gaming, who's in such a good playoff position. What does this mean for them as a team moving forward here?
Nothing, actually. They're still secured with their wins. The work that Fed and Matt put in all season is still going to be there for them. They're still locked in with the playoffs with the event win, so they're not going to be punished for that. It's a situation of the team was out of their awareness that they knew this happened. We're not going to punish the team as they did the ultimate sacrifice of letting a driver go one race before the playoffs.
That being said, with that driver let go, there's an open seat now at Go Fast Gaming, and we're getting ready to go racing here in just a short bit. Who's the driver that's filling that seat?
It's actually a driver that was part of the top 50 that didn't get drafted back in earlier this year at Phoenix. His name is DK Brown 86. He's also known as Danny Brown. He'll be taking over the roles and the responsibilities of that 32 Ford Mustang on the PlayStation side for the rest of the season. So
DK Brown gets the call to the major league. Zane, we appreciate it. And as we talk about the new driver for Go Fast Gaming, let's visit and we'll find out a little bit about what makes this driver go around, because he's another Alabama gang member.
I've been a NASCAR fan since I was a little kid. Definitely an awesome experience watching them cars go 200+ mile an hour. I'm motivated to not only prove to you guys but to myself that I belong near the top. Great personality. I'm a hard worker. I'm eager to learn. I'm eager to put in the hours that it's going to take to be one of the best.
And before we get racing tonight, let's get Danny Brown, otherwise known as DK Brown 89 up, or 86, up on the phone here. This is news that just came recently to all of us. You got the phone call. What was going through your mind when you got that phone call that you're going racing for Go Fast Gaming?
It was excitement, nerves. Definitely excited to work with Go Fast Gaming alongside Matthew Hill over on the Xbox side.
And I know you don't really have much practice, if any, experience going into tonight. How are you going to approach today's race just to kind of get that first one under your belt?
I've got a pretty fast car at Daytona, but not running around these guys. I will ride around for a little while, fill them out, and we'll make our move whenever we feel like we need to.
And fortunately for you, you're coming into a pretty good situation with where Go Fast Gaming is sitting currently in the playoffs. So you get to take a little bit of a sigh going into this race with your first round. But what's the conversation been like between you and your teammate Go Fast Matt before tonight's race?
Just get a solid finish. I'm going to ride around, like I said, try to run some laps, fill these guys out, run them all clean, and just get a solid finish. If we're up front, we'll go for the win.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and best of luck to you tonight in your debut.
Thank you, guys.
can almost hear the nerves just a little bit. And, we like to almost equate this as a minor league pitcher getting called up to the majors the night before the playoffs. I mean, this couldn't be a more pressured-packed scenario, but I think he's going to handle it. And he's a driver that has a lot of experience, just maybe not with these drivers in this league.
And this is what every driver builds up to. They prefer to be in this scenario at the beginning of the season, get that preseason, get up to this point to prove themselves. But he got the call that, like you said, all of the pressure is on his shoulders, but thankfully he can breathe a little bit and just focus on getting those laps tonight, getting acquired with his team and that kind of stuff, and the other drivers in the league, because Go Fast is sitting good in the playoffs right now.
And he said his good buddy is the Bear from Alabama as well. He's talked with him a lot. So definitely, I think that calmed his nerves here just a little bit. But for those of you that are like, well, how did we get to this point? I mean, 2019's been incredible for the eNASCAR Pro League, and we're going to take a look back at just what made this season so special.
After the first 7 races of the regular season, only 2 teams have had multiple event wins so far. Team Penske Esports took the first event win of the season in Charlotte with a win by Shell V-Power and a 3rd place finish from Pennzoil. Now, after briefly losing the points lead, Penske reclaimed the top spot with an event win at the last race in Michigan. Roush Fenway Gaming, they were able to be king of the mountain for a few weeks, taking the points lead due to a couple wins at Fontana and Watkins Glen. While That's Garbage on Xbox took the checkered flag at both those races, giving them that points lead. Levine Family Gaming, Go Fast Gaming, and JTG Dordery Throttlers also picked up event wins this season, locking their teams into the playoff picture. But the top dog of that group was Go Fast. They lead the group with 2 PlayStation wins from Fast Fed and 1 Xbox win from Go Fast Matt. Stuart Haas Gaming made a late charge in the season thanks to a pair of wins by Hot Rod on PlayStation and an Xbox win from Slick at the last race in Michigan. SHG is still looking for that first event of the season though. They say consistency is the key to winning a championship, and right now Junior Motorsports and Gibbs Gaming is the shining example of that, as they're in the middle of a points hunt this season, with Dohar's 4 podium finishes leading JRM and Gibbs getting a jolt from the Bolts' 3 top 5s. While Wood Brothers Gaming hasn't gotten an event win yet, their overall #1 pick on PlayStation Slade, he's the man of the hour, scoring 2 wins and 6 top 5s to help keep that team in contention for the playoffs. With only 1 race to go in the regular season, Germain Gaming is just teetering above the cut line and will need to have 2 good finishes on both Xbox and PlayStations at Daytona to hold off the 4 teams that are hungry and trying to burst their bubble to make it into the playoffs.
And a wild season has brought us here for a wild race at Daytona. Before we go racing those standings, they'd mentioned it, Team Penske with a phenomenal season thus far, those 2 event wins atop the board. But you've got those teams like Junior Motorsports and Stuart Haas Gaming lacking that event win, but the consistency they talk about has put them very well in the points at 3rd and 4th.
They can breathe a sigh of relief, but these drivers 8, 9, 10, and on back certainly cannot going into Daytona tonight. Go Fast Gaming just 5 points to the good, and JTG, although they have event wins, but it's Germain Gaming that's got the giant target on its back. Got to stay ahead of teams like RCR and Hendrick that with strong finishes today or event wins could surpass Germain. So it's definitely more of a defensive game for Germain and offense for RCR and Hendrick, as well as Petty and Chip Ganassi. But let's bring in Zane as we dive deep into the playoff bubble, because this whole scenario just screams pressure for Germain Gaming. Can you imagine being those 2 drivers going into tonight?
No, I can't. I really can't. It's in a crazy moment right now, because if you take from just 10th on the 14th, anybody can make their way into the playoffs and lock themselves in after tonight. It's Daytona, Magic, Super Speedway. The big one could happen at the least likely moment, or they could all be clean and we could see somebody sneak through at the end. This is the craziest race to have as your season finale. Like, to have this race, it's insane.
And we've followed these storylines all season long on who's been strong, and obviously those that have been consistently strong have those event wins, but there's a couple that don't. Who are your predictions here on who we might maybe see get an underdog event win or sneak in on points?
I actually made the joke to a bunch of the drivers over the week. I was like, guys, don't count out Chip Ganassi Gaming. And they're like, well, what do you mean they're 14th? I was like, a big one happens in PlayStation. Parker finds his way in the top 5. Skirt skips through the big wreck and wins the race. They're locked into the playoffs right at that point. Anything can happen. Don't knock them out. The guys I'm watching for is ERCR, Richard Childress Racing, and Chip Ganassi Gaming. I think those guys have a chance, if they can keep it clean and pull off a big upset, they're going to lock themselves into the playoffs.
Well, Zane, buckle up your chair if you have a seatbelt, because it's about to get wild here tonight.
I got a 6-point harness. Let's go.
Thanks. Well, it's pretty incredible stuff. And, he mentioned Chip Ganassi Gaming. That's a team that's been so quiet this season. I think it almost shocked a lot of people with Kurt Busch being the #1 overall pick in Xbox. But it's Daytona, and we've seen drivers come to the back, so it'll be pretty incredible to see if he can get it done here tonight.
And another one of those teams on the cutoff line, Hendrick Gaming Club. We're going to dial up their PlayStation driver, Nick Jobs, prior to going racing tonight and figure out what he's thinking for Daytona here. Nick, first off, welcome in. And Daytona, all of the pressure dials down tonight. What are your nerves like right now?
Thank you for having me. Got to say I'm a little nervous. We got to make up 10 points over Germain Racing, so we're going to do whatever we can do. It's Daytona, so it's going to be a crapshoot, but we're going to dig deep.
To finish first, you must first finish, and I know at Daytona that really rings true. How are you and your teammate approaching tonight, just to not try to – do you have to be super aggressive and kind of throw the kitchen sink at it, or can you kind of just run a normal race and kind of let the chips fall where they may?
We have had quite an unlucky season, and as a kid, there was one way playing Little League Baseball that I knew how to overcome comebacks, and that was to throw the rally cap on. Got to throw it on. Hopefully the superstition works, and we can come out ahead and get in that playoff.
And you're rolling off 12th tonight in tonight's race. That's a little bit of a ground to make, but Daytona's a pretty place to make those moves. Aggression early on, or are you going to maybe wait till those last couple laps when, melee usually breaks loose?
It's Daytona, so anything can happen. I'm not worried about starting in the back. I've started back there almost every race, and, the last 4 races I finished, the worst was, I think, 6th. So I'm not worried at all. It's going to come down to just being in the right spot at the right time and getting up there with 5-6 to go and making a run for it.
Awesome. Well, good luck tonight.
Thank you so much.
And there's a lot of confidence there, and I think that's a team that definitely is hitting its stride. As he mentioned, he started at the back almost every race, and he's worked his way to the front, especially the last few weeks. So no pressure like Germain Gaming, but definitely some added pressure to get that solid finish, especially to set up your teammate in the Xbox.
No doubt about that. And speaking of added pressure, another team, RCR Racing, looking to solidify their presence here with some late race momentum. Let's learn a little bit more about one of their drivers, Sloppy Joe.
What's going on, guys? It's Joey Stone, aka Sloppy Joe from ERCR, and it's about time you guys got to get to know me a little bit more. I wanted to get into streaming and make content, and I thought, what kind of name would get people's attention? And one night I was having dinner with my family, and we made Sloppy Joes, and it was like a light bulb in my head immediately. I always wanted to be an NASCAR driver since I was a kid. When it was announced that there was going to be a professional esports league, I said I had to jump the gun on this. I have to. When I first got drafted, I thought that it was going to be a process of, I'm going to be treated like a VIP guest or something like that. It didn't feel like that at all. It felt like I was part of the team. So this is my setup here where I do my streams and my racing. I run a 2-monitor setup, 1 monitor here. I switched over to a wheel this season rather than my controller, rest in peace controller. Besides racing and streaming and whatnot, I also went to the University of Alabama for college. I was in their drumline. I marched in the $1 Million Band. I also work out, and it's more of a life choice rather than a hobby now. I used to be overweight, and now part of my life is to live that healthy life. Some of my favorite tracks on the game have to be my hometown of Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm a huge road course guy. I love the Charlotte Roval. I also love Watkins Glen. I just love how fast-paced it is and how you have to really think about your braking points there. I really have to say the toughest track on this game is Bristol. It's kind of like a win and you're in situation to even make it far into the league. I would wreck my grandma to win, honestly. I need to get that win.
And he mentions Bristol being, a lot of luck. He actually was at Bristol this past weekend, got to experience it with RCR, and he had a little bit of luck on his side. He lost his wallet upon arriving to Bristol.
That's
sitting
the
on
worst
the front
feeling
stretch.
in the world.
Not a good scenario to be in. And he'd lost it on the front stretch, was sitting up on the front stretch barriers, went all weekend without it. No one turned it in. No one knew where it went. And he just had this idea, maybe if I go over to where I was exactly sitting in that position, maybe my wallet will be there. So prior to Sunday's Cup race, he showed up, went to the safer barrier on the front stretch, and looked between it, and lo and behold, there was his wallet with everything in it. So Bristol providing Sloppy Joe with a little bit of luck actually at the racetrack.
Yeah, he needs to go buy a lottery ticket after that, because
No
to
kidding.
last the whole weekend, that's luck right there. Incredible stuff. But definitely a driver that's hitting his stride as well and doing a great job at it. But I tell you what, Germain Gaming, we talked about it all pre-race shows. We get ready to go green. has all the pressure. And Jacob Kerr is one of the drivers that's going to have to step up in the clutch to get it done. We have a profile of Mr. Jacob Kerr to kind of figure out what makes this driver tick as we get ready to go set at Daytona.
My name is Jacob Kerr 13. I drive for Germain Racing. My biggest drawing to the game was the competitive side of it. It's fun. I saw this as an opportunity to join a big league and have a great time. I think other leagues are ran relatively the same, and I think this league will be different and nothing that anybody's ever seen before.
Yeah, I live in Stillwell, Kansas with my 4 dogs, my house, and it's perfect. I game in my bedroom. Got my 43-inch 4K TV, makes a world of a difference. I've got my Xbox One controller, just a basic day one controller. I got a white one too, and my chargers, just in case it dies. Just a basic Xbox One headset. Pretty much my setup.
I play golf. My dad's a PGA teaching professional, so I have a lot of free lessons and whatnot, and that's something I love to do outside of work. My favorite tracks are Indianapolis, Pocono, and I like Watkins Glen. I think the toughest track, New Hampshire. It's just no banking, and it's just you're sliding around the turns all the time. It's tough for me to get around that place. I think I'd do whatever. I wouldn't want to wreck anybody on purpose. I would do my best to move them out of the way.
And he may have to do that because right now it's all defensive mode. But that's a team that's kind of been quiet under the radar, and they're right there. Hannah, it's got to be pressure-filled for them going into tonight.
And I like how he said he doesn't want to wreck anyone. He would just prefer to be there, take advantage of the moment.
Exactly.
But we've heard a couple league drivers this year mention their grandma. We're bringing grandma into this.
Don't
and all
bring
bets are
grandma
off.
into it.
All bets are off at Daytona. We don't want to be wrecking anyone's grandma.
No, absolutely not.
Speaking of wrecking grandmas, hopefully no one's doing that. Let's bring Zane in here. We got a couple of those people that are feeling the pressure. We've talked about Jermaine, who's right above that playoff line, but you've got those bottom teams that are ready to take advantage of any slip up.
Yeah, and I'm saying right now, if you wreck my grandma, we're going to have words about it. Only I can wreck my grandma for a win. I'm just saying right now. Don't touch her. She's mine. With those teams right now at the bottom, you got Hendrick. Sorry, some people are angry that I made fun of my grandma just there. We have Hendrick Motorsports, ERC, Richard Childress Racing, and then Germain. Those are the big three. Right now, those are the three you need to watch the rest of this race. If Germain gets beat by either guys in RCR or Hendricks, they're out of the playoffs. They have to finish above those two teams. If RCR sneaks a win, pushes themselves into the top 5, they've locked themselves into the playoffs. Hendrick, same thing. Hendricks had the worst season so far, with Moordog blowing a virtual engine before the start of the race and taking a 14th to coming to this point where they're on the cusp of getting to the playoffs. They got to put those cars in victory lane. Heck, the last two guys, Petty and Chip Ganassi, we talked about it earlier. Put the car in victory lane on both sides or finish in the top 3. You're going to see yourself playoff bound and then racing for a championship.
Incredible scenarios, and I can't imagine being these drivers behind the wheel, especially the ones that definitely have to win, and you're in Chip Ganassi Racing or Gaming as well as E-Petty Motorsports. Zane, we appreciate it, and we'll check back in as we continue to watch the playoff bubble. But right now, it's time to figure out where these guys are lining up to take the green flag at Daytona, starting with that Xbox.
And we talk about it, SHG finding that late season momentum. They are on the pole for that Xbox race. A great qualifying effort once again by JRM Dohar on the front row as well. Wow, that's garbage. 5th place starting position. You're not going to be able to call him from the back to the front, Chris.
It's a little disappointing, but it's good to see Garbage have a good qualifying effort. As we look a little bit deeper through the field, there's Jacob Kerr. We mentioned, again, an eye around that Germain Gaming team starting 8th. We'll see if he can come from the back, and as well as Go Fast Matt, who has a new teammate this week, as we chronicled. So he's got a little more pressure to get more points in this one. And then there's the look at the rounding out the field with Skirt Bush, Casey. Those guys have to win, as well as HD Motorsports. A little bit deep for him, taking no time, but that 95 is really fast. He'll get to the front.
He's always a fierce competitor, but let's also take a look at the PlayStation lineup for tonight's race. SHG Hot Rod on the front row, a sweep for Stuart Haas Gaming in both tonight's races. The Bear, a fierce competitor as well for for LFR. They are in that front row position.
And Mike RPM, one of the best qualifying runs he's had this season, and it comes at the track he needs to win at for Petty Esports. They're a team that has to win and you're in, so good to see him up front.
Rowdy in that 47, 9th, and Sloppy Joe in that 10th position, looking to gain and continue that momentum. Slade, though, 6th position. He's always been up front in qualifying, so 6th, I even know him. He's probably disappointed about that 6th place qualifying.
Absolutely, and so is Nick Job starting in 11th because Hendrick Gaming Club has got to get to the front in this one to chase Jermaine Gaming, and he'll have some work to do. And rounding out the field is the newcomer, DK Brown for Go Fast Gaming.
He's in that 14th position, but you know Daytona's the place that you can start at the back, you can get that momentum, and you can try and get to the front.
And a team certainly hitting its stride when they need to. SHG, Stewart-Haas Gaming, the first team to have both its drivers sit on the pole here in tonight's race at Daytona. And we're joined by the voice of SHG, Jake. How about this, Jake? You couldn't picture a better scenario than this, having both your drivers leading to the green flag and also coming off back-to-back wins. Nothing can stop you guys right now.
I'm telling you, you can't beat that at all. It just took us a little bit to hit our stride, but I think we're finally getting to that point. We're getting to it at the right time of the season, heading into the playoffs, so it's pretty good.
Obviously, both your drivers have hot rods sitting on the front row of both of their respective races. How are they feeling about tonight's race?
Talked to both of those guys, and they are very confident in their setups. They're very quiet guys, as you guys know. Been telling me a ton, but they feel good about tonight's race. This week, that it's all about having a good finish. You don't have to go out there and win and put yourself in a bad spot. As long as you come home with a nice solid run, set us up nicely to make the playoffs.
Absolutely, and you talk about aggression on the racetrack, so I'm taking it this is going to be a little bit more of a conservative run for you guys, or when it comes late, it's kind of let them go?
I'm loose. If they have a chance to win, then they can go out there and get a win if we're feeling good about our position.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jake, for joining us. Good luck tonight as we get set to look forward to the postseason.
Jake, obviously the voice there, he's pretty confident in his drivers, and that shows they're both quick. They're on the front row. They've really picked up this late season momentum. They're going for 3 in a row.
That's the thing, is we focus so much on the playoff bubble, as we should, because it's going to be an incredible race, but Stewart-Haas Gaming is just setting another level right now. At the beginning of the season, it was Team Penske Esports, but right now, SHG, everybody's chasing them for wins, and I think if you're one of those teams that has to win to get in, you're going to have to beat that team.
And it's good to be in a position, too, where, like he'd said, we can just have a good race. We feel good about our cars, and if we just find that consistent mode, we'll be okay.
I think we will, and it'll definitely be interesting to see. But we're going to take a look at the race rundown here for Daytona as we get set to let them loose under the lights. And boy, is this going to be a good one with 40 laps the distance in both of our Xbox and PlayStation races. Pit window 10 to 12 laps, and guess where that competition caution is? Right after the pit window. So Hannah, I can't imagine it's going to be a big strategy race here tonight.
And speaking of strategy, let's bring Zane in here. He's got a little bit of insight. He's been watching these guys practice and qualify at Daytona prior to tonight's race. Zane, there's a lot on the line as far as getting locked in, but what's some of the strategies that we can expect at Daytona from these drivers?
Fuel mileage. It's really what it is right now. A lot of these guys are pushing the cars to the limit. A lot of these guys realize, hey, the competition yellow is going to fall on lap 13. They know their car will make it to 13. They actually spent 2 days in the garage pushing that car to 14 laps of fuel. So some of them don't even have to pit until the competition yellow comes out without fear of losing any positions. We're going to see a single file line. It's 40 laps at Daytona. We know no one wants to get out in front and lead this thing because they're going to be burning fuel, and they don't want to battle the 2 lanes of traffic trying to get around them. You're going to see everyone be real nice and polite, just talking to their grandma, saying, you know what, you can go in front of me, next to you, get to that 10 lap to go mark, all bets are off, everyone's going to wreck somebody's grandma.
Grandma.
It's grandma tonight.
It is grandma tonight.
It's the grandma show.
Poor grandma. Well, it'll be interesting, like you said, add that fuel mileage into it with all the added pressure, but everything comes down to the playoffs. After tonight, it's time to go racing for the championship in the inaugural eHeat Pro League here in NASCAR. 4 rounds in total after this week, and after each round, 2 of those teams, they're out.
Absolutely. 2 teams get eliminated each week, 2 weeks in between each race, so you notice the difference there. And how about this with our round number 4? That'll be our TBD race, we'll call it for right now. We'll announce where we're headed for our final winner-take-all race here at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. But Zane's got a little bit more of the details, because I can't imagine there's maybe some confusion here. So Zane, when you talk playoffs and you talk points, we're not worried about event wins anymore, correct?
No
we're
more
just focused on points.
You're absolutely right. No more winning your end. I didn't mean to talk over you, Chris. I like you. No more winning your end. It was only for the regular season to get you locked into the playoffs. Now, it's a combination of just your points and where you finish. As we like to make the joke, it's like the Winston and the Chase had a baby, and I think we called him Chinston. where it's the Winston point system with the chase knockoff. The bottom 2 from each round is going to be kicked out of the not the Pro League, but at least the playoff picture, and then the next guys will race. We get to the final race of the season, 4 teams racing for the championship. That first team to cross the line is going to become our champion.
And what a place to do it at the Hall of Fame here in Charlotte. Get everyone back together again. They started the season here at the season kickoff at Charlotte. We're going to end it here and crown a champion. Winner take all. You know that all of these drivers want nothing more than they're all going to be here in Charlotte, but they want to show up in here in Charlotte and know that they're competing for a championship.
Well, absolutely, especially because this is the inaugural season, so you want to have your name first on what should be a long list of champions here for years to come. But I can't imagine if you're those teams that just sneak in, you're already starting down in the hole. Remember, these points don't reset. You just get 1,000 points added on when you make the playoffs. So if you're down in that 8th, 9th, 10th position, it really is win in advance for these guys.
And this is where we're going to see a lot of that consistency play off for these teams, those drivers that have been collecting those top 5 consistent runs. That's going to all play into their favor as we get ready to go to playoff racing. But we still got a race here tonight at Daytona, secure that spot. And before we do, we're going to give you guys a lap here around Daytona International Speedway, but we're going to do it in NASCAR Heat 4.
Rated E for everyone.
Okay, fast lap here.
Awesome stuff. NASCAR Heat 4, if you haven't pre-ordered, shame on you, because that looks incredible. Just the sounds and the visuals. Cannot wait to play that game. But hey, we got to talk about Daytona here. And Hannah, let me tell you what, there are some drivers starting close to the back as we take a look at your first race on the docket tonight, PlayStation 4, that have to get to the front as we look at, well, your pole sitter who's set blazing speed the last couple weeks.
But take a look at 5th place there, Parker, in that Ganassi Gaming. You know, Zane talked about it and said, hey, that might be the breakthrough team that we're looking for. He's sitting pretty already in 5th. Anything can happen. We've seen drivers come from the back to the front on multiple occasions, but Parker needs that good run to get up there and get himself in a good position so that his teammate can follow it up in the next race and secure that spot.
Yeah, both Parker and Mike RPM there starting in the top 10, looking toward the mid-pack. You got Kyle Arnold, so another target right there with Germain Gaming just inside the cut line. We'll keep an eye on that 13 machine, as well as looking back towards Sloppy Joe. We profiled him a little bit. RCR chasing that Germain Gaming team. So 7th and 10th, close together. Certainly will be interesting to see them get to the front.
And the guy that is making his debut tonight in the NASCAR EHEAT Pro League, DK Brown 86 at the back. We've seen garbage come from the back to the front.
Yes.
It can happen. It can happen here at Daytona. So he's got to shake those nerves off, take a deep breath, and know that anything can happen here. I mean, how cool would a Cinderella story situation be? A great run for that team.
Oh, what a story it would be. And I know he was a little bit nervous, he told us before he came on the pre-race show, but let me tell you what, those nerves, they go out the window when you strap in and get ready to go for 40 laps here around Daytona. It's anyone's game. Anyone can win here, and it would just be something if DK Brown could get it done. But right now, he's got a lot of work to do. He's definitely leaning on his teammate, because right now, Go Fast Matt in the Xbox race will have a lot of work to do as we take a look at some of our onboard cameras here tonight's races, starting with Pennzoil for Team Penske Esports, sitting pretty there at the front of the point standings.
Penske's been strong all season long, and they continue to show that strength. So they've got to be able to be a little bit relieved tonight to know that they're sitting good going into a race like Daytona. But pace laps underway, the green flag about ready to drop. This is where these drivers have to take the deep breath, get their composure, and you know, you got to complete a lap to win the race first off. So here at Daytona, all these drivers, you can't win this race on lap 1. I think these guys are going to have the mentality of keeping that composure, knowing that everything can happen on the last lap here. So I wouldn't be surprised. My call is that they're going to keep their composure. They're going to race good, hard, pick off positions to get to the front.
Easier said than done, though, but a guy who's been very consistent is the one you're looking at on your screen right now, Slade, out of Cumming, Georgia, the 17-year-old. He has been an absolute standout this season, winning 2 races, and I'll tell you what, he looks confident as he takes that 21 to the front. He already has, like I mentioned, 2 wins, but 6 top 5 finishes. So if you want to mention him as Mr. Consistency, you'd be pretty accurate on that, because he's definitely leading the forefront for Wood Brothers Gaming, and a driver that hopefully is going to carry that momentum into the postseason as well as we get set in 3 weeks.
Wouldn't it be cool for him to start the regular season off with a win and cap the regular season off with a win? He won that first race at Charlotte. Then taking a look there at Sloppy Joe, and we talked about it in a couple previous races, that mic there he also uses for rapping, so we're waiting for the day that he drops a rap for us.
I think that'll have to be, he wins the championship, I want to rap about it. I think that's a good deal.
Are you going to collaborate with him?
Absolutely. We won't call it the Drip Chronicles because that's already taken, but we'll call it like the Heat Chronicles. There we go. How about that? I like that. We'll have to get together with Sloppy on that. I got some rhymes up my sleeves if I really try hard, but we're not even going to go down that road.
I don't even have words right now. I'm just.
Hannah's looking at me, just rolling her eyes.
Getting ready to go green here at Daytona for the final race for the PlayStation drivers in the regular season here in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. It all comes down to this for a couple of these drivers. Will they continue on to race for a championship? Green flag is in the air, and an immediate jump out to the front is SHG Hot Rod. He just manages to clear the bear, slide up, and already some solid distance between the two.
Yeah, he's done that before, but also the bear knows that this is a big drafting track. You've got to stay in that lead draft, and it's pretty much up to the leader determining which line you're going to run as everybody dives to the bottom. Single file as they go down the back straightaway for the first time, as Hot Rod would lead the field out of the great state of Indiana.
I'm going to be keeping my eyes on throughout the early laps of this race of Mike RPM. We mentioned the great qualifying effort for him. One of those teams still looking to get in on that, they're on the bubble. They have to win essentially to lock themselves in, and you got to wonder what's going through his head. I know we're only, on the first lap here, but you have to wonder his mentality, if he's taking the get to the front and get that win, or if hopefully they're just going to run for consistency, because so far this is one of the best runs we've seen out of that team.
Petty Esports, I think, is just a bit too far back to worry about getting solid finishes. It'll be a win and you're in for them, but right now he just wants to stay in contact with the top 2 because they have been speedy all season long here in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. So right now for Mike RPM, it is just stay in that podium spot and get this thing to the finish, and he's got another driver right behind him in Parker in the 42 also needing to win and you're in. So a big story developing here as we take a look back at where our bubble driver is, and that is Kyle Arnold back in the 5th position.
Riding along here with Pennzoil, one of those consistent teams that we always talk about with Penske. He's got 4 top 5s here and 5 top 10s, and he's one of those teams that I feel like when he has a good run, he's up front and competing for that win. But he's also one of the drivers we've seen bad luck strike a couple times, as well as the bear, where they're up front and battling, and then they find themselves in the middle of someone else's wreck, unfortunately. So it's been an up and down season for them, but they can breathe easy right now, and he can focus on tonight's race, just going for that win for the sake of getting a win.
He's a baseball and football coach when he's not behind the wheel, and I think he probably had to do some coaching up for himself going into this one just to keep himself calm, because he knows a lot of other drivers, including like the one we see back there in 3rd of Mike RPM, having a little more to brace for here tonight as they go down to complete another lap here at Daytona. The Bears staying right in line with SHG Hot Rod, Mike RPM in 3rd, and Parker in 4th. So 3rd and 4th right now doing what they need to do, staying at the front with Kyle Arnold and Germain Gaming on the bubble, solidly in a top 5 position.
And you can see it down there on his graphic. SHG Hot Rod with 107 laps led this season. That's almost double of any other driver right now in the PlayStation League. So obvious dominance there when it comes to leading laps and staying out front. And he also has 5 poles. He just has proven that qualifying is his niche. He's able to stay out up front, and it's just a matter of finding that consistency at the end of the race to put together those finishes. He's got wins though, so he's able to, this just late race momentum that he has found has really put them as, I would say, the team to beat.
Absolutely riding on board now with that Germain Gaming number 13 of Kyle Arnold. 4th at Charlotte, so he has the ability to get to the front, but has not gotten the checkered flag as a race winner. Boy, would he love to do that and give his teammate Jacob Kerr a little more lesser nerves, I guess we should say, going into the Xbox race. But right now, he's doing what he needs to do, riding up there in the top 5. Everything pretty hunky-dory for now, but once again, that pit window is going to be between 10 and 12, and so they're going to try to duck down right before that competition caution on lap number 13, and then pretty much that's when the strategies will divide themselves.
It's a big night tonight. A lot is going on. Let's go down to Zane with some more on that, Zane.
Guys, we got some awesome news. Do you like free stuff, Chris? I know you really do.
Yes, I do. You know the way to my heart is free stuff.
Hey, me too. Free is the way to go. So tonight, we're giving away another pass to the NASCAR race experience. We've already started the giveaway inside a chat. All you have to do is be a follower within the channel and use the command !raffle. You get your chance to be entered to win a NASCAR race experience to go racing like the big boys at any one of your favorite tracks. We'll give away, we'll announce the winner before the end of the race, but make sure you get in, because if you don't, you'll be going, man, I could have raced Charlotte, now I gotta watch it on TV.
So you're saying once again that I can't enter?
No, you can't, Chris, unless you got like $500 and then I'll just buy you one.
And Zane, just to make sure, this is the end of the PlayStation race, or they can enter until the end of the Xbox race?
End of the Xbox race, all the way up until the end of the final race. Right before we get to the checkered flag, we will announce the winner. So stay around for the entire race, because you got to be here to be able to communicate with us, because if you don't talk to me, I don't know who I'm giving this to, and I got to be able to have an address or an email. So stay the entire race, make sure you talk to us. We'll get you your prize, but it's going to be awesome.
It's an awesome deal. And if you've never done it, it is an experience of a lifetime. So definitely enter and try to get yourself a winner and get yourself a seat in a real stock car at a racetrack.
A lot of cool tracks on that, that you can go and drive at. It's an opportunity to get behind the wheel, feel what a lot of these guys feel on a regular basis. Actually, one of my co-hosts at MRN got the opportunity to do it as of recently, and he has not lived it down yet that he actually doesn't know how to drive a manual car. So he had to get help from the push truck the entire time because he was unable to drive the car. But take a look in car here with Nick Jobs. He's got that special cap on.
The rally cap is on.
I think it's actually inside out.
You know what?
Is it not?
No, it looks like it is. I think a lot of baseball players do that. It's like a rally cap. Yeah. You put it inside out, and there's the rally cap. He's smiling. Right now doing a solid job going from 11th to 8th. It's very hard to pass when it's single file like this, but he's been able to make a couple runs with the draft to get himself inside the top 10. Again, Hendrick needing to gain as much points as they can to surpass Germain Gaming and maybe hope for a little slip up by the 13 team. But right now, Kyle Arnold in that bubble position, solidly in a top 5 spot. With Jobs trying to chase, now he falls back to 9th. Make that 10th. So falling backwards a little bit is the Hendrick Gaming Club driver, but still a long way to go with 32 laps still to run. And
we saw Fluffy just break out of the draft there. He looks like he's getting some assistance on a push there.
We got 2 on the top side trying to make it work. Say we're just going to try to get to the front ourselves. It looks like on the top side it is the 2, so the Pennzoil machine as well. I think they're going to dip back low because there's just no more help on the outside, and Sloppy Joe's trying to push him as well. So that's Fluffy out there in the 17 as we ride 2 by 2 they go. So this battle right here is for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th.
And that push paying off a little bit there for Sloppy Joe and Fluffy. They're managing to get in front of Pennzoil here. They just need a little bit more momentum to be able to clear Pennzoil, get back down in that draft and gain those couple positions, but didn't quite work out for him as they managed to just run side by side here with Pennzoil and Nick Jobs. This is allowing a little bit of a gappage between them and the rest of the pack, and they need to hope that they don't lose that front end of the draft.
It's punching a big hole in the air in front of them, which is allowing your top 5 to start to pull away a little bit as we ride on board with Sloppy Joe, trying to give a little bit of help to the 17 here, saying maybe we can try to start something. But right now that bottom line just has a lot more help and a lot more air cut out in the hole, or the air was cut out there, so a lot more speed on the bottom, so they're not able to pull away. But it'll definitely be interesting as the laps wind down if people decide to go up top and make things happen here late in the race.
They continue to drop back there. There's got to be a little bit of a frustration. You know that he feels like he has a decent car, and he either takes the risk of dropping to the tail end of the longest line and following that draft, or hoping that they can make something work, like you'd said, to get that momentum, get the push, and start another line. And no one really seems to be on that same plan. So it's frustration for Jobs. He's either going to find a spot to, or Sloppy Joe, to tuck down in that longest line, or hope at one point they can make this work, and at that point they have not been able to. Pennzoil, though, still riding along here with him, riding in that 9th position.
Coming up to the competition caution here in about a lap, but the two on the outside with Fluffy and Sloppy Joe did make some headway as the 13 of Kyle Arnold got a little loose as they're bumping and banging down the back straightaway.
And we might have a top groove starting to kind of work in here, a top line. You saw Pennzoil jump to the outside there of Rowdy, starts to slip back, but don't worry, give it just a little bit, and he's going to get some assistance here as Sloppy Joe and all of them will try and get it behind him. There we go. We're starting to break out here, guys.
Caution is out. Yeah, unfortunately, I think the 95 of the Bear was thinking if I could slingshot my way past for the lead just before the competition caution. Didn't get it done. So SHG Hot Rod, who's paced the field since the drop of the green flag, will take the lead at the competition caution as we look at Pennzoil there, who's trying to make something work on the outside. Now the all-important question with pit stops. Taking tires? I know they're taking fuel because this will be a big strategy move here, but we'll get things reset for you. But so far, I think everything's played pretty calm. Hannah, what'd you say?
I would say so too, and you have to wonder, you would assume all of them will come down during this competition caution, but you have to wonder if someone will stay out. But let's take a look at this move here with Pennzoil that we were talking about. He broke out of that bottom groove, tried to slip up in front of Fluffy there and get that push, get that top line moving. Slipped back a little bit there. You see the 47 of Rowdy and everyone else just slide right in front of him. But getting ready to go back green here. The restart back underway. 16 laps in the books.
Up through the gears they go, and once again, it's Hot Rod who kind of jumps out to a slight advantage over the Bear, but they're already fanning out mid-pack there. How about the run on the outside for the 47 of Rowdy? We haven't talked about him a lot. He jumped outside hoping somebody would go with him. So far, no dice as he gets freight trained and he'll tuck back in line. As now they're back to single file racing here, but once again, the driver that needs to get a win to help his team get in the playoffs is Mike RPM in that 3rd position. He's been 3rd pretty much since the drop of the green flag, and then the man on the bubble, Kyle Arnold, is 4th. So 3rd and 4th is where your eyes should be right now for your playoff bubble teams.
He's watching the Bear all over the back bumper of SHG Hot Rod. You know, that little bobble that they get in the draft makes you a little uneasy.
Oh, look out, some contact, and we've got a crash on the front straightaway. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars involved, if not more, and that started with some bump drafting gone wrong. And as you see on the face of Nick Jobs, heartbreak at Daytona for Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club. Unfortunate scenarios, the caution comes out.
Looks like one of those things that was a bobble and weave as I was talking about it. He looked like he went down below the apron. We'll take a look at a replay here though. You see it there. Yep, a little bit of contact sends Jobs to the bottom. That race car unloads on the apron and around he goes, and just everyone gets caught in that.
Riding on board with Rowdy, just nowhere to go. Once Jobs got sideways there on the apron, he just could not hang on. A tough break. That was a car with now heavy damage that needed to get as many points as possible. Just now puts more pressure on Moordog, right? But Jobs could still salvage a solid finish depending on what happens here at the end, but we'll restack him and resend him here as we get ready to go for the restart.
The front row, a good place to be here at Daytona. SHG still with that lead as we were back under green after that caution. Jumps out and the Bear wastes no time, slides back down behind him on that front row. Those two are single file, but the rest of the field behind them is side by side.
Yeah, now we've got a train of 4 cars on the outside of the racetrack trying to make something happen, and it's led by your bubble driver of Kyle Arnold in 5th position, but it's not going to last long. That outside groove just started to dissipate there just a little bit. Right now it's just a 3-car battle with Keffer joining the mix. Haven't talked about him. Junior Motorsports, another team inside that playoff position, but would love some more points to give them a little more of a pad going into the postseason. But right now, they're falling back like a rock as we continue to follow your leader, SHG Hot Rod, with the 95 of the Bear, and Mike RPM, an impressive run so far with 21 laps, now 20 to go.
He's hoping to hold on to that and take advantage of any last lap moves that these two might pull. It'd be one of those, like we said, those stories where someone wrecks on that last lap in a Cinderella story where Mike RPM collects that first victory of the regular season. Another driver, though, to pay attention to, Voltage, with Gibbs in that 5th position. He started to really work his way and be consistently in that top 5 tonight. And he's at the mid-pack of the longest line here at the bottom draft, and he hasn't really made any moves as far as trying to get up and out of the draft. He's just hanging out right there, but we see Kyle Arnold out on that top groove, get shuffled out into the back outside of the draft. We ride along, though, with Sloppy Joe, who is in that 9th spot there. And everyone seems to be pretty single file now.
Well, and what RCR and Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club are loving to see is Kyle Arnold drop to the back of the field. So that's another position that they've gained. And especially for Nick Jobs, who just was caught up in an accident, he needs to stay ahead of that 13. So anything can still happen here. But man, Mike RPM has not even scored a top 5 this season, and he's running 3rd. I mean, this would be an incredible story. Still a long way to go here tonight. 19 laps to go.
Riding along here with JRM Keffer. Strong season for that team. Still looking for that win, though. Again, those are another one of those teams that I feel like they've just had bad luck. They'll get a good run going, and then things just won't work out for them. He's actually only got 1 top 5 this season, but 5 top 10, so he's there. He just isn't able to execute in those last handful of laps. He finds himself in the top half of the field. He's got that 4th at Michigan, his best finish of the season so far. So a big track that he's got that good finish on would make sense for him to be up front and competitive at Daytona tonight.
Representing Charlotte and West Virginia, his home state. We had a profile of him a couple of weeks ago. Pretty cool to see the family affair that eNASCAR Heat Pro League brings. He's got his daughter and his dog and everybody enjoying the Pro League here. Trying to put on a good show as we ride on board with Keffer.
I'm just interested to where the dog is.
Yeah, we saw him in the background last time, and his daughter too. He's got a little bit different of an angle going with the camera here today, a little side profile shot. On communications, probably with his spotter, as well as the other drivers in the league, as he continues to have a solid showing there mid-pack, and he'll probably try to turn it on here as of late, because once again, Junior Motorsports needs to get those points, and Zane, you can add to that.
Yeah, hey guys, I got a little bit of information here on Keffer. His guy in his ear is his crew chief / spotter, J-Mons. He was a top 50 driver in the showcase, and now he's actually working the booth for his driver in JRM. The hard part I'm watching right now is Keffer's doing great, but I'm watching that 13 Chevrolet with the Geico. He needs a good finish, and right now he's dropping like a rock in the middle of a lake. He's not doing well. I don't know if he's going to swim back to the top.
Not a good run there right now for Kyle Arnold. I mean, we talk about pressure. Can you handle it? And right now that 13 back in 12th, and that's exactly what the 25 of Jobs and Sloppy Joe would love to see. Right now, though, everybody close. They're running 10th, 11th, and 12th on the racetrack. So your bubble drivers are all together. Maybe they'll try to work together to get back to the front.
You have to wonder if there's been some discussion on helping people out. We know who's locked in via wins, and that can't be taken away. So you have to wonder if maybe some of those teams that are locked in have said, hey, let's help out, some of our alliances here to get you guys into the playoffs as well, or if Daytona just brings out a free-for-all with everyone looking to lock in that position. But there's no doubt that there's no denying SHG Hot Rod, just dominant tonight. No one's really even tried to pressure him. The Bear's been on his back bumper a couple times saying, hey, I'm here. But to break out of the draft on that front row really probably is just the best decision until you get the opportunity to fan out there for position, but not something you want to do with 15 laps to go.
Yeah, and those bubble drivers, though, they're definitely not friendly. I mean, we heard Kyle Arnold say in the pre-race show that, he's not going to be afraid to move somebody out of the way. And right now he's running 12th with the 2 guys that he needs to beat ahead of him. So it'll be something interesting to see if they can get back to the front. Riding on board with the Bear, the pride out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Yeah, he 60 laps led, which is a great effort this season, but, it's just been all hot rod in terms of laps led, and he's continuing to add on, leading all of them so far here tonight.
And a little bit of pre-race conversation between you and I. We got to know the newest addition to the league, DK Brown. Prior to tonight's race, and we actually talked to him a little bit off camera here, and he said that he has a turtle.
He does?
We were laughing because the turtle's name is the Bear. Well, the turtle's name is Bear.
Right.
And so we were giggling that there's a bear as well in the league. I was just very amused by the fact that his turtle's name is the Bear.
Definitely an interesting name for the Bear, but slow and steady wins the race for DK Brown. Right now, though, he's 13th. A good, solid effort, though, for the first-time driver for Go Fast Gaming as we go back toward the front.
And we take a look here at Fluffy here in a second. He's in that 4th place. He's managed to work his way back up as well. Fluffy there, 6 top 10 finishes. Again, consistency for that team. They've been good at most of the big tracks as well. But, again, it's going to come down to just positioning yourself somewhere good tonight when it comes down to the last couple laps there. Fluffy, though, always providing some excitement, as well as the Bear. They always just provide very exciting races here in the PlayStation.
Fluffy, though, I know was disappointed because he won 2 events in the preseason. When we did those exhibition races, he looked like he was going to be the man to beat. Right now, he's struggling to try to get a win, a single win this season. So, be interesting to see if the 17 can get to the front. Luckily, his teammate got them locked into the postseason, so a little sigh of relief there as we take a look. Back at the 20, Voltage for Gibbs Gaming. He started 12th up to 5th, so a good run for the 20. Gibbs there, another team inside that playoff cut line, but trying again to get every point you can because these points do not reset when we go playoff racing. So you want to give yourself a nice cushion and be in that top 3 or 4 so we can get the championship going. As we caught one car below the double yellow line there. That looked like the 95 of the Bear. Did not impede his position, so nothing will be done there as he took a look to the inside. And then we're riding on board here with Slade, the 17-year-old. Does not have, well, I think pretty much, 5 consecutive finishes no lower than 4th, and right now he's running 7th.
And we had a couple people duck down below for pit stops. That'll cycle through an interesting group that decided to pit there. The Bear, Mike RPM, Parker, and Kyle Arnold among those that are pitted. SHG still with the lead. That would slide Fluffy up into 2nd there. So interesting that we had this group of 4 within the top 5 pit, but our leader did not. That puts them on different pit cycles and really shakes things up.
Trying to get a good lap. Here's the 14 as he's trying to hopefully give himself a little bit of a cushion when he does dip down onto pit road, but everyone's going to have to make another stop here. Coming to 10 laps to go at Daytona in the fight to get in the playoffs as right now your leaders duck onto pit road, the 14, the 17. And then here it comes, so it looks like Slade will take over the advantage, or Voltage, excuse me, as we got in more cars down on pit road. Looks like Sloppy Joe in the 8 as well.
And Zane had mentioned it in the pre-race. A lot of these drivers spent a lot of time over the past week really trying to get these cars, push them to that full 14 laps on fuel mileage. So now you've got a handful of drivers on one pit cycle. You add in 3 or 4 more on another, and then throw the rest of the field at them. Who's going to be able to ride it out on this fuel mileage within pit cycles? This really just shakes up a storyline on how everyone's going to play out with these final laps, 10 to go. Voltage with that lead, and we know he can't make it on fuel. They pitted around lap 13, 14. There's no way they can make that with that 13 lap fuel window. So he'll have to come back down against Slade. We just saw him duck down pit road, as well as JRM Keffer and DK Brown. Voltage, though, still with that lead and adds a couple laps led to his season.
Our monitor's showing Voltage actually pitted lap 20, so this could be that early pit stop strategy as he ducked down about, well, him and Pennzoil, as well as Jobs, all 3 went down on lap 20. Everybody else about lap 30 to 32. So interesting. He may be able to make it, or he's right now just trying to save as much as he can because he may be close. Still with 9 laps going there, he'll dip down in to pit road. Definitely cannot make it, so good effort there for Voltage. But right now it's back to the front as everything continues to cycle through, and there's Mike RPM again for Petty Esports in the thick of things. Can he get a win? Trying to get his first top 5, but hey, he says, I'm going to go for a win here tonight.
And he has positioned himself in a spot that he is in contention for that win. He's not there by chance. I mean, he's been good. He showed that he can run there all night long, as well as a good qualifying effort for him. We jump back here to Slade, getting a little bit of a push here from JRM Keffer. They run in that 4th and 5th position. They've broken away from that pack behind them, which holds a mass of other cars, including SHG, Hot Rod, and Fluffy. and they're pushing them to catch JRM Keffer. So you see the bobble there, trying to stay within the draft there, but they also want to break out and be able to gain position as they can.
It's going to be tough because here comes a train behind them led by SHG Hot Rod for Stewart Haas Gaming, and they're going to try to take them on the outside. Look at the speed differential as we ride on board with Slade. Going around the outside is Hot Rod, the 17 of Fluffy, and Mike RPM. So 4, 5, and 6 positions change as Hot Rod goes to 3rd, Fluffy to 4th, and Mike RPM inside the top 5.
You see the Bear there sneak between them for 3 wide. Oh, that sends Jobs, I believe, down to the bottom. He holds on to it.
Nice save.
Yeah, nice save, and we just saw someone else in front of him down below the apron as well. People are starting to get a little dicey here. Fluffy pushing SHG Hot Rod around Voltage, so SHG back to the lead. Hot Rod regaining that front spot.
Yeah, those two really working well together to get themselves back to the lead, and I think right now for Slade, who we ride on board, again, has a streak of 5 consecutive races where he has not finished lower than 4th, and he's trying to not end that tonight, but he really didn't have much help there as the front train just went right around him. So he's going to tuck back in line here in 7th, trying to work his way back to the front. But again, if you're just tuning in and want to know where your bubble drivers are, right now, Mike RPM sitting pretty in 4th for Petty Esports, but he's got to get a win as Hot Rod takes the lead once again. But right now, Kyle Arnold, that's the big story. Germain Gaming on that bubble line, trying to stay afloat, and right now he's back in 12th, some 6 seconds behind your race leader.
Great runs by those bubble drivers of Voltage as well. For Gibbs, like you said, Mike RPM in that 4th position. A good evening for someone like Pennzoil and Slade to have a run like this. 6th and 7th, well, it may be not what they want. They're good. They can breathe a little easy. They are locked in to the playoffs. So we know that they're trying to pick their way back at the front, but a run like this tonight will not injure them. You want those points to start the playoffs with, but they're sitting good in the overall standings, so they have an opportunity. But Germain Gaming, we talked about it. Kyle Arnold in that 12th position, 10th in the point standing. He's got to pick it up. He's got 5 laps to go in order to position themselves in a good run for an overall event win.
Yeah, he lost the draft too because he is absolutely getting just left in the dust. He's 7, now 8 seconds back and falling as the laps continue to whiten down. So something has got him off some strategy, and it's all going to be up to his teammate to get as many points as he can. But as we go back to the front, the battle right now is going to be who wants to win. We talked to Jake in the pre-race, the voice of Stewart Haas Gaming. He said, you know, although there's no pressure for us to win because we're in, does not mean that we don't want to continue to win races. So definitely expect Hot Rod to get defensive here as we go 4 laps to go at Daytona. And look who's back up in the mix a little bit is Nick Jobs. Got caught up in an early wreck, has the damage fixed, and right now he's behind Parker, who needs to win to get in. Those two drivers hoping to get back to the front.
He's got that rally cap on as he tries to rally his way to the front. You can see him just all over the back bumper there of Parker. Job's driving with everything he's got right now to try and get that up front. You can see him pushing there multiple times on the back bumper of Parker. To the bottom, to the top. We've seen him go down below that yellow line multiple times throughout the race tonight. Fortunately, holds on to it.
Hey, look at Sloppy Joe making the top work. He's trying to get some help. Right now doesn't have much, but he made a quick surge. Can Voltage go with him in the 20? Right now, everybody's staying your top 3 on the bottom, and we've got 1 car on the wall, Jobs. Looks like he'll continue on, but he drops back now to the 11th position. So your bubble drivers not doing what they need to do right now, but the man who is the 44, Petty Esports, Mike RPM to the outside. He's got the 95 with him now. So the Bear teaming up with Mike RPM, running the cush.
And just when we thought that top line was going to get going, you saw Mike RPM jump up there. The Bear said, hey, I'll help you out. And in that moment, Sloppy Joe said, I'm out. I'm going to tuck back down to the bottom. And he tucked down, taking away the run, though, from those 2 drivers. They continue to slip back. Some communication obviously going on between a lot of these drivers here. As you see Sloppy Joe talking on the radio there, running in that 4th position. Started 10th, made some good ground tonight. Great run for him and that RCR team. Also for Voltage. 2 laps to go at Daytona for these PlayStation drivers.
Bubble drivers just falling like a rock. Mike RPM was all the way up to 3rd at one point. He is now back in the field to 10th with Parker in 9th. So right now it's all about your heavy hitters toward the front. As they say, the cream rises to the top, and it's Hot Rod, Fluffy, Voltage, and Sloppy Joe for RCR, the best of your bubble drivers that he knows he has to beat Jermaine Gaming as they come down now. Final lap here at Daytona, and here comes one more surge on the outside.
Pretty good run there by Mike RPM pushing the bear. They swapped positions there and said, I'll try and, ooh, we just had someone hit the wall there.
Parker in the 42, so his race will be done as he drops the draft, but down the back straightaway, oh, look out, Pennzoil tries to thread the needle and he starts an accident. Trouble down the back straightaway. We stay clean, we stay green, and now the battle will be for the win. They're gonna race back to the line with Hot Rod and Fluffy. Who's gonna take it? Fluffy makes it move to the outside. Can Voltage get to the front and help him? They're side by side at the line, but it's going to be Hot Rod who takes the victory. And Sloppy Joe, one of the bubble drivers, gets a top 5. You see elation on the driver of the number 8. Solid points outing, and that will do wonders in the points battle.
You can see the excitement on that driver's face of Sloppy Joe for that good run. That's exactly what they needed. You know, it's on his teammate now to get that good run in the next race for him and potentially secure that team with an event win. They need that, but another dominating run for SHG Hot Rod, collecting that win. Led 37 laps of this race. I mean, just absolutely dominated. Found his way back to the front after every pit cycle, and he tried to be challenged at the end there, but no one really had anything for him.
Fluffy had a good move, but to no avail there at the end as we take a look at your finishing order. Hot Rod getting the victory, and for SHG, back to back to back, because it was pretty incredible. Hot Rod won Indy, Slick won Michigan, and now Hot Rod wins Daytona. So solid for them. Fluffy coming home 2nd, Voltage 3rd, and then there's Sloppy Joe, a solid run for RCR in 4th.
Also, Mark RPM rounding out that top 5. Solid run for that driver as well. And that team, they really needed that boost there. Slade coming home 6th, followed by the Bear in 8th, and then you get into some of those drivers involved in that last lap accident, including Nick Jobs and Jerem Keffer rounding out your top 10.
Heartbreak for Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club, needing its solid finish, but even more so is Kyle Arnold and Jermaine Gaming. They've got work to do in the next race to solidify themselves in that 10th and final playoff spot. And how about the newcomer? 12th for DK Brown in his first ever eNASCAR Heat Pro League race as he takes over that 32 ride from Fast Fed.
Great race overall. You know, this, like you said, everything kind of came down to that last lap there for some of those drivers. Fluffy tried to challenge him. You know, SHG said, nope, we've let it. We've showed our dominance. We're not giving it up there. And then there was a couple of the other drivers that said, we want to make a run for it. And it just did not fare well for them. But that's what you get at Daytona.
And I just wanted to see some of our bubble drivers work a little bit closer together. I think near the end of the race, there was a little more of desperation. I don't think these drivers really realized how quick these laps kind of winded off a little bit, and some of them fell toward the back. And so it really hurt Jermaine Gaming as well as Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club. But boy, it'll be interesting to see RCR, where they'll stand in the points as we get ready to talk to the man who had the 4th place run of Sloppy Joe for RCR. An incredible finish for him. You saw the elation on your screen, and he is the man who's setting his team up for success to get themselves in the postseason. Sloppy Joe, congratulations on a big top 5 finish for your team. You had a big sigh of relief and some fist pumps. What did that mean for you setting up your teammate in this next one?
It means a lot, man. You know, we came into this race saying, look, we got to go all out, and the pace was set. You know, they wanted to save fuel. You know, saving fuel was the name of the game right there. And I was back in like 12th there at one point. And I just told myself, look, I got to go. And I said to my friends and everything, I got to bring out that cold trickle. And I just went to the outside. I said, no more saving fuel. I'm good to go to the end. And I went from like 12th to 4th in like 2 corners with like myself and like 2 other cars behind me. I don't know who they were, but I'm thrilled, man. I'm thrilled. I told myself I wanted to come here with the top 5, put Jordan in a good spot. I know we beat the 13 and the 25 by a good amount of spots, so Jordan's got himself a pretty easier race now. He just needs to go out there and run his thing, do his thing. But I'm proud, man. There's no team out there that deserves this more than the RCR, and we're going for it. We're 1 more race to go until we clinch playoffs. Hopefully it happens.
And we talked about how your Bristol experience, you'd lost your wallet, found your wallet, and now a 4th place finish for you. When are you going to go buy your lottery ticket?
Oh, Hannah, I knew you were going to bring that up. I was watching the pre-race. I'm like, man, she brought up the wallet thing. But yeah, no, for sure. I'll probably get my lottery ticket. If we make the playoffs, I'll put a video up on Twitter of me buying 8 lottery tickets for my number, and we'll see what happens. How about that?
That's awesome stuff. Congratulations, Sloppy. Way to go, and we'll be cheering on your teammate as well.
Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the second race. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, we certainly will. And we've got a special guest to enjoy the second race with us. Corey LaJoie is joining us here in the studio. Welcome to eNASCAR Heat Pro League. Are you excited? What did you think of that race?
Well, I walked in about halfway through, and I seen the entire board of production wall, and I'm like, holy cow, this is actually quite serious. But to Sloppy Joe, I met Sloppy and all of his YouTube buddies out at Bristol this past weekend, and I'm trying to entrench myself with the YouTubers and the esports drivers now because that's the way of the future. It's a great way to get young kids into the sport and get them excited. So I really am happy to be here and do just to understand this stuff a little bit better because I don't really understand it. And to this point, really blown away. So I'm excited to get this Xbox game going so we could see who can move and shake on the old can they use controllers?
Yes, you could use either or. So it's your pick.
If you were to use them, I would be a controller guy. I think
I'm a wheel guy. I like the feel.
Wheel man.
Yeah, wheel. Exactly. That's my name.
I feel you.
There you go. Sorry, Hannah. What about you?
That being said, before we get ready to go racing here at Daytona, you've gotten to take it in from the production side of things. Do you have any advice before we go race this Xbox race for these guys getting ready to hit Daytona, knowing all the pressure's on for some of these drivers to make the playoffs?
Well, I think that, Earnhardt said it best. I mean, he could actually see the air, right? But I think these guys have to really see the pixels in 1080p. It's something that we've never seen or heard of. You can't literally see the air on these TV screens, but you can see the pixels. So the guys who can see the pixels the best and maneuver, those are the guys that are going to win the race.
Well, I'll have to get you behind the wheel here at some point and see how you fare in this game. But folks,
I would probably suck at it. I'm not going to lie. I probably would suck.
It can't be as bad as Hannah and I. What did we get, 37th, 38th in our inaugural try here?
And I was 37th. Let me just condone.
I'd be better than that.
I was high, wide, and handsome.
I'd be better than that.
Stuffed her in the fence. But hey, for those of you that are excited about NASCAR Heat 4, you have something more to be excited about because not only can you run cars at Daytona, but you can also try to run a truck at, well, let's say Watkins Glen. Take a look.
Rated E for everyone.
Green flag, green flag. Right side's clear. Left side. Left side. Clear left. Still there? You're clear all around there. Careful, still there. Clear left. Left side. You got room, you're clear there. Right side, clear all around there. Left side's clear. You got room, you're clear there. Careful, still there. You got room, you're clear there. Left side's clear.
Thank you so much, Elijah, for that great content. And yes, any track, any series except for Eldora. So don't try to race a Cup car in Eldora because you can't. But hey, that's going to be awesome in NASCAR Heat 4. But take a look at your Xbox starting lineup. Yeah, it's a familiar team on the front pole position, SHG Slick.
Once again, sweeping the front row in both those for the first time. Jeremy Dohar with another great run as well on that second spot. Wow, that's garbage. 5th place. Good qualifying effort for him, considering usually he's got to come from the back.
As we go through the rest of your starting order, Corey LaJoie, what would your gamer tag be if you had one here?
It'd probably be Super Shoe. That's my nickname. So it'd probably be Super Shoe 07.
There we go. Okay. look out for it because you know you're going to hop on here in a little while. But
absolutely.
As we round out our field, the #1 overall draft pick in Xbox, Skirt Bush, a team that has to get a win, an event win to get in the postseason, starting 11th. Rounding out the field, HD Motorsports for Levine Family Gaming, starting shotgun on the field after not taking a qualifying time. So we're going to stack them up, try to do this again, and see what we can do, because right now the playoff...
Now, why would that guy not qualify? Was he eating dinner or something while they were qualifying? What happened?
Well, there's a number of reasons. We've had virtual engines blows. Oh, does Zane know? Oh, Zane, why did he not take a qualifying time?
That was after Michigan, guys, when he got wrecked on the last lap. HD was so heated he would rather sit in his hauler pouting about it instead of getting on the track and qualifying. So now he's going to try to go from last to first at Daytona.
I've been there. I know how I felt. I've been there.
Oh my goodness. Well, there you go. There's the answer to the no qualifying time. Now, folks, keeping track of our playoff contenders, Germain Gaming, after suffering a not solid of a finish, is just holding a 1-point lead over RCR for that 10th and final spot in the postseason, and just 7 points over Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club. So still in contention is Hendrick and RCR. Boy, but that RCR closed the gap with a solid job by Sloppy Joe. As we ride on board here, here's a look at JRM Dohar for Junior Motorsports, the guy that we always love looking into because he gives the most incredible reactions to things, Hannah, doesn't he?
He always gets, super excited, and they should be. They should be showing their emotions, because there's definitely frustration that goes into this. But if you guys think the pressure was on for those PlayStation drivers, it really comes down to these Xbox guys. They watched their teammates race, get those finishes, and now it comes down to them to back that up with a good finish. There we go. We've got the Dan Cave. We've got the Bolt with Joe Gibbs there live from the Dan Cave. He's got those pre-race dance moves. He's always showing us some dance moves.
I love the gloves.
Facial expressions. We talk about someone that's excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really hope he can hear us right now.
Oh, he's getting ready to dance. Absolutely. Oh, there we go.
Goes.
Yep. Right on cue. Pretty impressive stuff. Now, Corey, when you go run at Daytona, anything can happen. So how do you approach the start of this race? Because we've seen so far everybody kind of take it pretty easy the first half of the race.
Yeah, it seems like that first race everybody was kind of content to ride there. It almost looked like an ARCA race there at the end. Nobody really wanted to pull out and make a move. So hopefully we can see a little more action this Xbox race here.
We've got a panda head.
Panda bear? You can see anything in this league, I'm telling you. We have panda bears. We've got a driver with a pet turtle named Bear. Pretty interesting stuff.
So that guy right there that's the Bolt there.
Yeah. Yep.
He's got the gloves. He's got the whole thing. He's ready to rock.
He's ready to roll.
Absolutely.
Cool. Now, what kind of games can they play on these restarts? Can they stack the field up? Can they play some games and fire off in the restart zone whenever they want, or what?
The drivers take control as soon as they cross that start-finish line or when the green flag's out. So, unfortunately, I don't think you can really play many games on the restarts, starts and restarts, although that would be interesting, though. But definitely it'll be a pit strategy race as we saw in the last one. We've seen guys peel off 6 laps in to 12 laps in. So.
Yeah, they said that the fuel runs between 12 and 14 laps, so we'll have to pull a Larry Mack thing out here. Call the green here. We're getting ready to rock.
Getting ready to go green, the last race for the playoffs here. One last chance to lock in here. SHG Slick out to the lead just like his teammate. But it is JRM Dohar tucking in behind, and no one wants to go right away to single file. We continue to get that outside groove trying to work.
Dohar went right to the outside and immediately probably regretted it, because now he falls back in line to the 5th position as we ride on board with Diego, the other Petty Esports driver. That team, just like Chip Ganassi Gaming, needing an event win tonight to get in the postseason. His teammate got a solid top 5 position there, and Diego, as we ride on board with him out of California, riding in the 6th position here early on.
My man is locked in the in-room. We call that onboard or in-room camera. We're going to call that in-room camera here with Diego DD18.
There we go.
He's looking good. He's running about 6th. Just give himself a little room. They're still early, 39 laps to go. He's just going to try to keep the fenders on this thing and be there at the end.
And it's still early out in California, too, so he probably just finished or getting ready to eat dinner, getting a little race in before he goes and eats some dinner out in California, too.
We talked to Fluffy last week, and I was like, what do you eat before one of these races? He goes, I chug a Monster. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, all right, interesting. Maybe need a little more substance, but it's all right. Whatever gets you to the front.
Hey, man. Yeah, like you said, whatever gets you. But a good run there.
Guys, a Monster's my breakfast. Like, don't make fun of it. Fluffy's eating breakfast of champions right there.
Zay, monsters are your breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
No. I actually eat food for dinner. I eat food for dinner. I just actually eat monsters for lunch and breakfast.
Can you eat monsters or drink monsters?
Well, see, the can's got a great source of fiber, so you do eat at least one can like a billy goat, and then you eat actually iron. You know what? It's absolutely right, iron. I apologize. I'm not a doctor. I just play one on the internet.
This race is flying off the handles real quick here as we're just a handful of laps in this race, with Slick leading from the drop of the green flag. Track Bar, who's kind of been the consistent driver of the Xbox League, or the division here, is the Bolt, the man with the gloves, riding in third position, and Garbage, the man who we usually see start at the back, riding in the top 5 after starting close to the front. But right now, the pressure's on for the 13 of Jacob Kerr. 1 point lead for Germain Gaming in this final race, trying to get themselves in the playoffs, and the team chasing them just 1 point back is RCR. And the driver of that number 3, J-Mac Attack, riding back in 14th, 2 seconds back. Still in contention here early on, though.
I feel like we need to give a shout out to the Go Fast Matt 32 back there riding in the top 10. He's just biding his time, letting these guys kind of make mistakes. You got JRM Dohar just concentrated like an eagle stalking its prey.
Oh, yeah.
About to pounce on Ryan or whoever's driving this 6 here. That's Diego. No.
Garbage.
That's Garbage. So he's about to. He might be content to ride behind Wow, That's Garbage right for now, but I think he's going to try to get him here at the end.
It's cool to see their different setups. You've got guys that've got the nice backdrop. You've got a couch. We even have a driver here, Shelby, who goes to Purdue University. He's in his dorm room.
Yeah, man. That's what's great about this online, man. It doesn't matter where you're at. You can grab a controller, grab a wheel, and set up, and you can go rock. That's why it can get guys from all ages, whether you're 7 years old to 97 years old. You can grab a controller, plug in NASCAR Heat 3 or NASCAR Heat 4 in the next couple weeks, and go race with some of the best video gamers or the esports competitors in the world.
There we go. Yeah, I'm sold. I'm about to go pick it up right now.
And something cool too, is the draft that took place earlier in the season. To get all of them in one spot and get them so involved with, NASCAR teams that they've taken them in as drivers. I guess a lot of these teams have actually worked hands-on with these drivers, giving them setups that they do run at these racetracks. So interesting to see how all of that has played into. They've worked with spotters, but we have a change in the lead. JRM Dohar takes that lead from SHG Slick. Looks like he just got shuffled out of the draft there, goes back to third. And Moordog, another good run for him. We talked about his unfortunate luck at the last race, is in second.
I'm curious to know, what do these guys have for mirrors? Because mirrors are a big part of speedway racing, I don't want to say real life, but in real life. You really utilize your left side mirrors and your rear view mirror to kind of see what surrounds you. So what are these guys using?
In the game, they've got a rear view mirror, but they also have spotters too.
Okay.
So they've got spotters just like you would.
So they can have a chase camera or a lead camera and kind of see what's around them. Okay. That's even better than what we have in real life. Because spotters, that's one of the hardest things for spotters that are on the roof, spotting the backstretch, because you can't see because they're on the flat plane from you. So that's why all those big wrecks happen on the backstretch, because you really don't know who's inside or outside of you.
The depth perception from so far back.
Absolutely.
Judge.
So these guys have a little bit of a leg up in that regard, just because they do know and they're aware of what's around them.
Dohar with that lead now. Another strong run for JRM. He always qualifies good, but found his way to the front. Let's take a look how he acquired that lead. Got some assistance there from Moordog. Those two would gang up and help each other out and slide down in front of SHG Slick, who runs in that third spot. And we talked to Jake Morris, the voice of SHG. I think he's content right now there. They talked about going for those wins, but also being content with a good run. Third right now is a good run for them. He's shown that speed. And it comes down to those last couple laps ultimately here at Daytona. But Moordog with a great run so far this race.
And I wonder if that was a couple Chevys teaming up on a Ford there. That's what it looked like to me.
I was just about to say, Chevy Ford now. They're trying to shut out SHG and Stuart Haas Gaming there as, yeah. And it's happened before. We've been to 1.5 mile tracks. We've been to the big 2.5 milers, and it seems like at certain stages those manufacturers will work together.
It's funny how that works, and it looks like old SHG Slick 14X. He doesn't have a whole lot of Ford help besides old Shell V Power 22 running 9th. So they're going to need to find each other to get a little bit of manufacturer help go to the front here.
They most certainly will, because right now the laps are continuing to wind down. 32 to go here at Daytona. Once again, checking in with our bubble drivers. We got some action going down here for 3rd and 4th. How about this? On the bottom side of the racetrack is the Bolt in 4th. Trying to get some help behind him is Diego. But on the outside groove, it's the 14 of SHG Slick leading the charge with Track Bar and Garbage. Can a 3-car train make its way to the front? And right now they're creeping their way forward.
Oh, we've got contact there with a couple of the drivers. Looks like we had it.
Oh, big jump.
Oh, big contact on the inside. Oh, and they're wrecking again here in turn 1.
And yellow's out. We should be looking for everybody to pit here, because we're creeping up on a green flag stop there, so that lines everybody up to get tires and fuel, maybe make some adjustments here to set them up for one more stop to get them home.
And this will count as that competition caution that we talked about earlier. You see JRM Dohar there.
Stretching it out. Lats are getting a little tight. Thumbs are probably getting a little sore by this point, but you got a long way to go, buddy. Long way to go. 30 laps. Better take care of them thumbs.
Here's a replay here as we saw couple get loose. That looked like Track Bar and Garbage, and then Track Bar tried to get off the wall, and when he did, just caused contact there with J-Mac Attack. So J-Mac Attack, Garbage, both involved. HD, I think, snuck through there. But yeah, there's more.
Man, we got a panned-in shot on the old Oscar Mayer Ford Mustang here, and it really does look like garbage. So hopefully he can get that thing repaired and be. It looks pretty good. It looks way better than the shot they just showed me.
I was gonna say, imagine how quickly you can fix the bodywork on these things.
Absolutely. I guess we're going back green now.
We are.
That was quick. I like that.
Quick reset. We set him loose here as the green flag is back out with JRM Dohar leading for Junior Motorsports, but on the outside, another Chevrolet. It's Mordog for Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club trying to get the lead. He's going to settle for second, but here comes the Bolt. The 18 for Gibbs Gaming making his way to the front, and right behind him in line is Diego and SHG Slick back on the outside. So here comes the run. And right now, if you're the 88, you're just basically driving out of the rearview mirror?
Yeah, absolutely. But we had a couple guys up backwards through the grass. No telling where those guys were going. Mr. Track Bar 33 was backwards for JTG Gaming. I don't know what their name is actually, but yeah, he's lagging back. He's struggling. But maybe he might get a caution jumbo back up here.
So far, we're green, and 2 wins, as you see, for Wow, That's Garbage. He's done them both from the back.
He's still got some speed, though. I see he's kind of biding his time, but he can time his if he can time his runs a little bit better here and get some help, he might have a good enough car to get to the front.
And actually, something cool about that driver is there's been multiple occasions where he has not taken a qualifying time and started dead last on the field, and he has, what, 2 wins now?
Is that just a power move, or is he just busy and got other things to do before qualifying?
Well, one, I think there was a technical difficulty, and I don't know about the other one. I think he was just like, I'm going to see if I can.
The boys back at the shop didn't work hard enough on the Wi-Fi signal to get him out? What happened?
Either way, I'm convinced that the favorite thing of Chris over here to call is, wow, that's garbage.
Yeah, the hot dog machine.
The hot dog machine, yep.
Love that name. Driving the Wienermobile around.
There you go. Oh, yes, absolutely.
You haven't used that one all year?
No, I've been slow.
Yeah, man.
Slow.
I've just been here for 10 minutes, and I've already pulled that one out.
Well, I'll hand the rest of the reins over to you.
No, man, you do a good job. You do a good job of this thing. I'm here just following your lead.
Riding on along there with the Bolt. We just saw a thumbs up there. Hold on to the wheel there, bud. You're at Daytona. But running in that second position there. Just a reminder, too, a giveaway. If you want that opportunity to win a NASCAR racing experience, all you got to do is head to our Twitch channel right now, twitch.tv @704 NASCAR Heat. Use that command raffle to enter for your chance to win a NASCAR racing experience at your favorite track where they're running that. Get behind the wheel of one of these race cars. You have to be present, though, to win that. You got to be able to stick through the whole race, so that way if you do win, they can reach out to you and get that contact information. Pretty neat situation, or pretty neat deal that they're giving away here. The opportunity for a fan to climb behind the wheel of one of these race cars.
16 tracks on the schedule, so you have your choice. Pretty interesting stuff. Again, ! raffle is the command to use if you are on Twitch, so get to it, because you got about 20 laps to go or so.
One of our bubble drivers, J-Mac Attack, looking to maybe put himself on a different pit cycle here, get things figured out. He is pitting, the only one to pit thus far on outside of that cycle there. So J-Mac down pit road. JRM Dohar still with the lead. Another good run here. We talked about RPM. They ran really well in that PlayStation race. Diego up to third right now, pushing the Bolt right now.
Yeah, solid run for them, and another run on the outside. Here comes the 13. Germain Gaming is on the move, folks. Jacob Kerr says, I got to help my teammate getting some more points, but he got real loose there. A big shot from the 22 of Shelby. They'll settle back down, but then, wow, the 43 of Diego put on a mean block there as they're slicing and dicing all over the place as we ride on board with the Bolt. It's all eyes forward for him. He's got the game face on, riding in second. And it looks like we've settled things down a little bit. The 22, Shelby, did get shuffled back, and he's at the back of this group, back in the 9th position.
That was interesting to see, though, because that was the outside lane with a big run. So that took about 4 cars to really make a big run. The leaders and the leader there, JRM Bohar 88, laid a pretty good block and it was able to maintain the lead.
We've seen a couple times drivers try and tuck out with just 1 or 2 of them to get that run, and they can't quite seem to get that momentum. It usually takes a couple more of them. But take a look there. You've got JRM pretty strongly holding that lead, the Bolt lurking there as well as Diego, but you got to wonder what's going through Jacob Kerr's head right now. He went into this race knowing he's only 1 point to the good over RCR, so while he's running his own race, he's running a race against RCR at the moment within itself.
Absolutely, but you know, Moordog back in 6th. Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club just 7 points back, so if he can get a win or close to, that could shake some things up as well. So still probably 2 teams left in it, and then if you look at the driver in 3rd position with Diego, Petty Esports, if they get an event win, which they already have a top 5, if they can get a win today and an event win, that will knock Germain Gaming out. So still a lot of scenarios still left to be played, and that's what you want. I mean, this all comes down to the wire here, and where else would we want to do it than Daytona?
Well, I think that's a pretty good precursor, though, for next year, the cutoff race for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Oh, I guess, or I'm sorry, it's not Sprint Cup. It won't even be Monster. It'll be the NASCAR playoffs. The cutoff will be at Daytona next year, which will be absolutely crazy. There's going to be so many storylines there, and there's going to be a lot of happy people and a lot of unhappy people there at Bristol here next September.
Here comes another run from the Bolt. I think biding his time, as we've kind of used, and right now your top 3 settling in. Don't look now, though. Garbage up to 5th, riding around in the top 5 most of the day. He's the guy, I think, that will be like, I'm making a move, who's coming with me?
Yeah, if anyone's going to try and jump up to that top groove and make it happen in that outside line, it will be Garbage. He's just shown that he will...
Almost moved him out of the way was the 18. Sorry to interrupt. I thought the 18 got underneath the 88. He made a look. It made a peek at the bottom side, but again, still trying to keep glued to that yellow line.
I don't know about you guys, but I just feel the intensity ramping up here a little bit. Old Garbage is kind of getting up behind the old 13 car and not giving him a whole lot of room to work. So he obviously wants to go. He's looking for some help. Doesn't look like anybody wants to try to get that top lane working yet, but oh wow, that's Garbage. He wants to go to the front.
We watch here with these drivers that are in that draft, in that single file line. You see him bob and weave, trying to stay within that draft. When you're running at Daytona with such close proximity at such high speeds, it's obviously all relevant in the moment, but what's the feeling as a driver, you know, doing that bobbing and weaving and feeling a car step out at such high speeds?
When you're single file just logging laps like we usually do for the first 2 segments, it's fairly, I'm not going to say easy, but it's not very nerve-wracking. But when you get those 2 and 3 wide side by side, you're really reaching up for the belts about every lap and grabbing a handful, because it's just a matter of time before you feel like you're going to pile them up. So that's probably the most nerve-wracking thing in racing, is just when you're going 205 miles an hour, just getting ready for somebody to make one small mistake that collects about 15 guys. So yeah, that's what we haven't got to that point just yet, but intensity's going to ramp up here before long.
And it looks like we're getting ready to actually catch some lap traffic here. I believe that is J-Mac attack here. If he doesn't hold his lane, that could actually really shake things up here with having people try and split that lap traffic. And this is a great opportunity for someone like the Bolt to set JRM Dohar up and use this lap car as a pick, but it's going to manage. He's going to have to get out of that draft to do it. And right now, they are just holding steady on that single file line.
Well, another thing to keep in mind, too, is a lot of these drivers last pitted on lap 13. We're approaching lap number 25, so pit stops may be coming into play here as that fuel window opens back up, but So a number of things to look at here as we continue to ride with your leader and looking back in his living room. We saw the tongue out a little bit. The focus is intense. He's going to use that lap car, a little bit of a draft and pull around the outside. And so everyone gets around Skirt Busch okay.
Ooh, little bobble there from Skirt Busch, though.
Yeah, it looks like, man, the old 88 car there is fast, and he's handling pretty well. We got, I don't know, we got underneath the yellow line, double line, no line. They're all over the place here. So, yeah, but they're really going to need to team up and make an attack at this 88 car because he seems to be the obviously dominant car in this race.
A few cars down pit road. Go Fast Matt, Casey, Track Bar. Those were middle of the pack. Now
and we're all peeling off.
Oh yeah,
this will get interesting.
Get them mowed down, guys. And they're all on pit road. So pretty much your front group is down on pit road as Slick will take over the lead.
But Slick doesn't seem like he has any help, so that's obviously it'll be a penalty for him riding around by himself when all these guys pull out of the pits.
There's Diego, the driver, the 43. Has a fourth at Charlotte, would love a win at Daytona to try to send his team to the postseason. They have to win the event, and right now, riding up in the 5th spot. But he's on pit road, so we'll see how things cycle through. But Corey made a good point about feeling, the trust with drivers. How much trust do you have to have in your competitors when you're that close together?
I mean, you don't really have a choice, right? You're just holding it wide open, hoping nobody makes a mistake. Obviously, we race together pretty much every week of the year, so we know what some guys' tendencies are versus others, and we all watch the races every week, so we know the guys that are probably more apt to start a crash, so you want to try to keep away from those guys. But overall, man, we're all professionals. We're all really good at driving race cars, so when somebody does make a mistake, it's obviously not on purpose, and it's usually few and far between.
A lot of these guys race in leagues outside of the eNASCAR Pro League as well, so they're awfully familiar with each other and their driving styles.
What other leagues are there?
Oh, there's so many.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They're on the online esports community, even just in racing and NASCAR heat. There's, local leagues started by drivers. There's some developmental leagues. There's some other pro leagues, and then there's NASCAR sanctioned eNASCAR Pro League. So a lot of these guys race 5, 6, 7 days a week.
You got to get controller time, man. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
We cycle through there. We'd mentioned at SHG, staying out there, not pitting there, puts him 2 laps down on that pit cycle. He pitted on lap 26.
Is he out of fuel? I don't know what he's doing there. I don't know if he's saving. He can't be saving. I don't know if he got blasted by that fast because those two guys had that big of a run. But obviously we see the time penalty by riding around Daytona here by yourself.
Oh, yeah. The closing speed has got to be incredible when you come up on a car that's not in the draft.
No, I'm curious. I didn't really pay attention, but how did these guys get so far ahead of everybody else? Did they take 2 tires or a little bit less fuel, or what happened?
So we'll have to check in with Zane, who's down in the digital media lounge, because maybe he'll have some insight on pit stops. But right now, yeah, those two had incredible pit stops. I think they came in together and left together, but man, they stretched out a lead. 1 second over SHG Slick, who they just blew around.
And SHG was not involved in that pit cycle, so they were able to pit and still catch, and then, like you said, blow right past him there. JRM Dohar, I believe, was also somewhat involved in that pit cycle, runs in that 4th position. So right now, these two in the front are hoping this thing just goes caution-free. Leave that gap and just run away with it, because if you can see there's just a little pack behind them, quite a ways away. I don't think they'll be able to catch them.
Yeah, they will. They're catching about a second a lap here, maybe 6/10. So they're going to get there. And I do think, man, those guys, because they pitted on lap 25, they're going to be close on fuel.
We talked to a lot of the guys prior to, and Zane had, about them stretching that fuel mileage. And Zane, we're going to bring you back into that conversation about what's been going on with these pit cycles. You got some more information on that for us.
Yeah, so what happened in that group of cars, it seemed Diego Dohar and another one, I couldn't get the information from the spotter, they got jumbled up on pit road, and that's what caused the Bolt and Mordog to have this lead. Dohar and Diego got into each other. Now they're playing catch-up, trying to run them down. These guys are running anywhere between 13 to 14 laps of fuel on this run. So we're probably going to see one more pit stop coming through here for a fuel only.
What's the possibility of somebody trying to push it? Is it Is it possible to try to stretch it?
Your bride, Dohar. He's always a bridesmaid, never a bride. He's finished second 4 times on fuel strategy alone. So that's your guy you want to watch out for right now. Even he's sitting in 6th, or no, I'm sorry, not 6th, in 3rd. He's got a way of stretching that fuel more than anybody else. He knows these gears in these cars. Watch that guy. Watch the 88 the rest of the night. He could not go down pit road again.
He's leading that pack of drivers that have closed a 3-second lead to now 1.4 seconds to your top 2. So they're coming, and it's led by the 88 of JRM Dohar and Garbage in 4th.
If I'm Wow That's Garbage, I'm sitting here waiting to see which direction that Dohar goes, because I need to flush him, because he's the guy to beat. So if I'm Garbage, I'm trying to get Dohar flushed and try to control this race, because Dohar's the guy he's the guy to beat right now, in my opinion.
And he's been looking for that win, like he said. He's been a bridesmaid multiple times throughout the season.
Oh, they're jamming it up.
Some accordion there as we get.
Here we go. Here's a ring for the lead. Ooh.
Contact there a little bit with JRM Dohar and the Bolt. The Bolt still holding that lead, but it looks like Mordog shuffled up SHG slick into that high groove. The Bolt still holding it, but JRM Dohar wants that lead. One down to the bottom of the apron. There goes Jacob Kerr, holds on to it, but falls to the back and ultimately loses that draft.
That's not good for your playoff bubble driver, because before that happened, Jermaine was just 3 points ahead of Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club in that playoff cutoff. So Jacob Kerr falling back only helps Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club. So interesting story developing there as we ride on board with your leader, the Bolt, trying to hang on for a victory.
No dance moves right now for that driver, as he is all eyes forward. And we just talked about that points gap between Jermaine and RC are 2 points separate, or Hendrick. Jermaine and Hendrick, 2 points separate those two teams right now as they run. It's going to come down to the wire with 10 laps to go.
That's going to come down to the wire, and then this race is going to come down to the wire, because, boy, this is shaping up to be a good battle at the front. We saw them get slicey and dicey there for a little bit. They raced clean, and right now that group is caught back up, so now we've got a giant gaggle of cars from about 1st to 8th.
We saw something similar, single file. They managed to catch up and run just like this until the last 2 laps. Someone tried to tuck out a line there. It looks like they made a little contact with the wall, but we'll hang out back there. But
looks like Wow That's Garbage is backing up to his help there,
yeah,
trying to formulate a run. So we'll see how this pans out like.
So there's your bubble driver of Jacob Kerr back in 9th. Looks like he's lost the draft. He's 5 seconds back of that lead group with just 8 laps to go. Boy, this could shake things up big time if it stays like this. But with 8 laps to go, it's anyone's game here at Daytona. Anything can happen. But right now, Jermaine Gaming just holding a slight 2-point advantage over Hendrick, and that could change here in a matter of laps. But right now at the front, continue to be single file. You look back to probably right behind Garbage there in 4th, Mordog. So you've got a Chevy there in 4th, and you've got a Chevy in 2nd. One of those two can get around your leader in a Toyota. But right now, here's those late pit stops that you were mentioning, Corey.
Yeah, they're peeling off here, 8 to go. I think it's a little bit early for what they really needed, but I think they're just going to try to come with their help. And it looks like we had a lot of contact getting on pit road, so I wonder if that's going to affect any of those guys speed-wise. But as we saw there, the Bolt and Dohar leading the pack. Those are the two guys that are going to be fighting out for the win, I think, once this thing shakes out, if all the pit goes pretty smooth, because those two guys are the fastest cars here tonight.
Mordog and Jacob Kerr pitted, so that will tighten up the playoff point battle as you look at the battle for the lead as Diego, 43 for Petty Esports, needs the event win to get it done, but he cannot hold the top spot. That top lane just started to sucker back there just a little bit. He'll back up to skirt Bush, who's a lap down, and try to get some help. Nope, he'll go to the bottom. So saw a brief ray of sunshine there for Diego.
Yeah, it looks like that top lane can't. Oh, we got mergers.
Wow. Watch
out. Watch. There goes. Wow, that's garbage. Yeah, the top lane just can't get formulated. It doesn't seem like handling is that much of an issue. That way, because the guys can just kind of toe that line around the bottom. So you're gonna need some numbers in the top groove to get that thing going and really pull back that inside lane.
HD Motorsports started dead last on the field, and guess what? He's 2nd.
And the guy that started at the front, SHG, there up to that 3rd position. The Bolt
looking for the lead here. Looking for the lead here. We'll see. There's going to be guys looking to pit here as well because these guys,
Oh, in the wall goes the 18.
He got in the fence a little bit. What's he doing, man? You're leading the race. Just keep her straight.
May have been some contact, not sure, but the 18 definitely sideswiped the wall there on the front straightaway. Didn't slow him down, though, a little bit. Still maintains the lead. 5 laps to go here at Daytona with playoff spots on the line.
Catching a little lap traffic here. Maybe I'll get a little bit of suck off that and help, who's that, 13 car?
Yep.
Obviously, he didn't have the night he's wishing for. About to go 1 lap down, but I'm waiting to see when these guys come down pit road where they're going to shake out. Because these guys, the guy that's leading here, he pitted 1 lap prior to the other guys that pitted, so he's going to be even tighter on fuel as we got to change for the lead here.
Yep.
Everybody's coming down.
Well, you thought the 18 was going to stay out. He dips back in.
He missed pit road.
Oh, he did. Oh, that's a big
mistake. That's it for him. Sorry, guy, you lost.
The Bolt makes a huge mistake missing pit road, trying to get it woed down, but the guy who did hit pit road is HD Motorsports, and tough outing. Man, he just got in there a little too high.
I'll be honest. I did that in my first attempt at Daytona 500. It's hard to get on pit road because you just get accustomed to going 200 miles an hour, and woeing her down to 65 is way harder than you'd think. And there was no left trigger that could slow that car fast enough to get that thing on pit road.
Unfortunate break for him. He had a strong run going, and a move like that can just completely flip your night upside down. The Bolt's still sitting in that 2nd spot after made it.
But he's got to come down pit road, so he's going to lose all that track position, all that time he lost. So yeah, I think his night's over. It really is in Dohar's hands right now.
Dohar in that 5th position. Like you said, he will cycle back through here. You got SHG Slick, who's acquired the lead. Diego, a great run for him in that 3rd position. And HD Motorsports from the back, starting dead last, has made his way up to 4th.
Bolt will dip down pit road after missing it the last time, but Slick still has not made that 3rd pit stop. Last pitted on lap 26. So he went 2 laps, I think, farther than everybody did before their 3rd pit stop. So is the fuel strategy game going to play in Stewart Haas Gaming's favor? Can that Mustang go the distance? 2 laps to go.
Well, Diego's leading this thing by 3 seconds. I don't know how he shook out but a lead there. And he's by himself right now. So Diego's and the Dohar and the Shelby Power, they're pushing each other pretty tight. So we'll see if they'll be able to catch him.
14 is saving fuel, the word.
And it looks like Diego's drafting off a lap car to try to save some fuel. So, man, there's 2 to go. He might actually. Whoa! What happened?
Well,
man, that wasn't good.
Well, that's not going to pay off the fuel saving game. But right now, all eyes on SHG Slick if he has enough to save. But right now, he's got.
There's 1 lap to go. He's leading the race with Wow That's Garbage pushing him 1 lap down.
Ford's working together. Garbage is a lap down, but he's trying to help the 14 make it to the end. He's got to go around 1 more.
He's 28.
time.
He can run out right now in the 6th if he will. He could push him to the line.
If the 14 wins, this will be the first time a team has swept the event. They started on the front row with SHG Slick.
He's going to win.
And Hot Rod.
He could run out right now and win this race.
As long as the 6 doesn't wreck him.
True.
You'd mentioned those Fords needed to find each other, and
he's running 3 seconds off the pace. He's going to do it. He can do it. He can coast now.
Oh, my goodness.
That's crazy.
This is an insane. Yep, and he's starting to coast now as the 6 goes around, but the 14 of SHG Slick will get the sweep at Daytona.
Obviously, a fuel run is longer than everybody expected.
Unbelievable. Whoever did the math on that, round of applause.
That's 16 laps. That's 16 laps, but obviously a lot of saving. Congratulations to SHG Slick 14X. Good job, man.
And what a storyline there that we talk about. Wow, that's garbage. He is 1 lap down and manages to find that Ford teammate and help him out, give him some assistance.
Yeah, he deserves a big thank you on that one.
He does. He deserves a thank you. And breaking news actually here, Germain does clinch that playoff spot. They will be advancing and competing for a championship spot, so they will advance over RCR and Hendrick as well.
Here's how they unofficially finished at Daytona, with Slick getting the fuel mileage win over Dohar. Another solid podium run for the 88. Shelby, your winner at Charlotte, part of Penske Esports, getting home third. And fourth from the back is HD Motorsports.
Great run for Diego out of California for that Richard Petty team. 2 strong runs. I believe 2 top 5 finishes for both of them.
Yep.
So great run for that team as a whole. The Bolt, unfortunate break for that team. Led a bunch of laps, was dominant, had a good run going, and overshot pit road, which lands him in that 10th position.
You saw Jacob Kerr in 6th, just enough to get Germain Gaming into the postseason. So breathe a sigh of relief, because you're in the postseason. Incredible stuff. Mr. Track Bar 13th, and rounding out the field, J-Mac Attack of RCR. So, boy, it came down to the end, and I didn't think Germain would have it there at the end, but they would. So an incredible job by them. But we're going to talk to our winner. The voice of SHG Slick is Jake, because his driver, Slick, got the job done in an incredible fuel mileage race, lasting 16 laps to the finish. Incredible stuff. So, Jake, I have to ask, did you plan to go that far without making a pit stop? I mean, 16 laps, that's incredible.
Place the whole night. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but we had a plan in place the whole night, and we were ready to do this. And Slick executed it to perfection. We're the first team to sweep. So
definite excitement for that team. You guys started on the front row. Both of those cars found victory lane as well. At the tail end there, though, we saw a little bit of teamwork happening, but not between your 2 drivers, between Wow That's Garbage and your guys' driver. Was that something that was determined before the race, knowing that you guys had a pretty good car?
We can't tell you all our secrets, but, those Fords are going to stick together. As Corey knows, the Fords Super Speedway races, that they have a plan in place, and they're going to make it happen, and that's what we did.
Incredible stuff, and this has got to do wonders for confidence going into the postseason. So congratulations, Mr. Jake and all of Stewart-Haas Gaming, on getting the win here at Daytona, and we look forward to seeing you in the playoffs.
Go enjoy a cold Busch beer tonight to celebrate for us.
There you go.
Hell of a plug there, and I appreciate that suit jacket there, sir. Good job.
Awesome job. Well, that was the voice of SHG. Jake, as we take a look at the standings, final regular season standings. So as you can see, Germain is in. So Penske Esports leading wire to wire in the regular season. Stewart-Haas Gaming, Roush Fenway Gaming, all those with event wins. And then the first team with no event win up there in 4th, Junior Motorsports. Solid, consistent runs this regular season.
And Germain, who was on that playoff bubble there, they leave this race in actually that 9th total playoff spot. JTG obviously had that event win, but will come home 10th. So unfortunate for RCR, Hendrick, Petty, and Ganassi. They will not be racing for those playoff positions.
And just 1 point separated them. 1 point, as you can see. So, I mean, that's how close that this went down to the end. 522 to 523. Incredible, even with an event win. So that's kind of what did it for them. But incredible that this all came down. 7 races it took us to get to this point, and it's very close.
Well, you win and you're in, but event wins out the window. It's time to go playoff racing for a championship at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. A couple weeks away, Wednesday, September 11th, we will be back here at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You guys can join in on NASCAR. You can join us on Twitch, NASCAR 704 Heat. Also, Facebook streaming. We want to see you guys back. You guys thought today was crazy. Let's go racing at Las Vegas.
Absolutely. And there's your Twitch winner for our giveaway for a NASCAR racing experience. It's Kaysen48048. Congratulations on winning our giveaway. And we're looking forward to seeing you at a racetrack behind the wheel of a stock car. Corey, final thought. What do you think?
I love it, man. If you'll have me back, I can talk about this stuff some more. But yeah, maybe I need to get on a little controller and see what I got compared to some of these guys.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you again here back. And for all of us here at the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte for eNASCAR Heat Pro League, I'm Chris Willner with Hannah Newhouse and Corey LaJoy. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you September 11th, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, as we go playoff racing. It's time to find out who's running to a championship. Until then, we'll see ya.
compared to us because he looks like a monster.
Yeah, that's fine. Because it's, I mean, you're not lying.
Yeah, let's do this. Did you say you're ready to go? Or am I hearing things?
Bigfoot that could come out.
Ooh, really? Who was it? Yeah.
I did that in a micro.
Hey, they're showing us highlights.
I'm back. PS4. Stuart Haas gaming on the front row with Hot Rod.
Wait, so this is PlayStation? Right, PlayStation. Hot Rod.
On pole. Three wide racing, then first incident of the night as Jobs got on the apron and melee ensued. Rowdy gets in the fence real hard and Jobs cannot believe it, needing a good run. That rally cap not working out too well so far. Then a backstretch.
That's the Bear and
Pennzoil.
Mike RPM and Pennzoil.
Solid fourth place for Sloppy Joe. He said, I beat so-and-so by, I think...
Dude, I beat, oh my God, dude, I beat Jobs and Cabo like 5 or 6 spots. Yes, 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 good run.
Is it just the 10? Okay.
Okay. Do 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 do.
I wish Go Fast did a little more tonight for their driver that was here.
Yeah.
Because I remember one time he's like, yeah, don't forget about Go Fast, Matt. I'm like, they haven't done anything. It's funny when the real guys show up, because remember Jobs didn't have a good day when Canal showed up?
Oh, yeah.
And then Corey shows up and neither of them... Oh, yeah, I bet. Oh, really? Are you just rolling on it? Yeah. Oh, for sure. That's funny. Nice. Saving that. What? Anyone got dibs on the announcer yet? Ew.
That escalated quickly. Dylan just sent me that screenshot.
Oh, God. Wait, send that to me because I'm going to show Maggie. Be like, got some competition. His name's James.
Yeah. James is an anniversary follower, too.
Oh, God.
You want me to send this to you?
Yeah. Just so I know who it is and keep on the lookout.
Yeah, in case a James Shane Wolf Jr. shows up at your house trying to sell vacuums.
My luck. I love how the first guy was like, I'd do her. And she's like, no, I meant him. I was like, oh, God.
So I have some friends that do like video content for some of the teams, right? And they were just texting me about tonight's race. And he goes, yeah, I met the bear in Talladega. Definitely an interesting human being. Really nice, but interesting nonetheless. I could see that.
No, bear's cool. I like him. Him and Sloppy. He's always like really like, oh, I'm honored to be on here. And like, he's cool.
He said, Dylan said it was special in the comments tonight. That wasn't even the most ridiculous ones. Do I want to know why you're laughing?
Why are you laughing?
Kara, do you ever go back and read the comments on the Facebook stream?
Yeah.
Dylan is sending me screenshots right now, and there's a conversation. Usually they're pretty decent. Someone goes, anyone have dibs on the announcer? And someone goes, I would do her. And then someone goes, I call dibs on him. You can have her.
His name's James Shane Wolf Jr.
I said you better hope that James Shane Wolf doesn't show up at your house trying to sell vacuums.
Oh, boy.
I know,
Yeah, I was
isn't
gonna
that
say,
ironic?
Oh, jeez.
Dude, I love the wives and the girlfriends that get in there and like are full-blown racer wives in the sense that they're like, why are you even watching Top Fan over here? Just all you do is complain, go so-and-so, great pass. Like you expect him to like bring team snacks all of a sudden. Yeah. Oh man, all right.
Jeez. All right.
I'm going to tweet that.
I'll start on this.
Okay.
Playoff spots on the line in PlayStation at Daytona as Nick Jobs of Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club gets the rally hat on, trying to get his team inside the playoff cut line. But right off the top of the bat, it was Hot Rod for SHG on the pole.
Hot Rod would be hard to beat for that team all evening long, but it wouldn't be without a challenge. You see Pennzoil sneak up there as they fan out of that single line draft, but back to it. And a little bit of contact here.
Yeah, Nick Jobs gets on the apron and hits the outside of Rowdy, and that sparks a big old crash down the front straightaway. Lots of damage and lots of heartbreak for the 25.
Disappointment there, but another incident here. You see it there. You've got the Bear, Mike RPM, Pennzoil, all of them go spinning through the infield as the top four break away.
It's all about saving for the end, and the man who did a great job of doing that is your leader as the 14 gets the win.
Oh my God, dude, I beat Jobs and Cabo like 5 or 6 spots. Yes! 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 Great job, yes! Yes, good run!
An elation for the 8 of Sloppy Joe as he realized his 4th place position would get him a solid point stay ahead of the bubble drivers as you take a look at the unofficial results.
SHG Hot Rod with that win, a great comeback by Fluffy in that 2nd position, and you saw the excitement there, 4th for Sloppy Joe.
Mike RPM needed to get a win to get in. He comes home in 5th, and then Slade, consistent driver, gets his first outside the top 5 finish in 5 races back there in 6th.
The newcomer at Go Fast Gaming, DK Brown, 86 in that 12th spot, and rounding out the field for PlayStation was Rowdy in 14th.
And here's a look at your unofficial standings going to the playoffs. Penske Esports leading from flag to flag in the regular season. And take a look on down. How about Gibbs Gaming? No event wins, but they're solidly in at 6th.
Also, Woods in 7th with that no event win. And you look here at JTG on the top of that cutoff line. They will go playoff racing with that event win. And Jermaine barely scraping in that 9th position. But we will see you guys in just a few weeks. Wednesday, September 11th for the first round of the playoffs. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune in live on Twitch and Facebook streaming. We will see you guys in 2 weeks at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Dohar thinks he's good to go. Full sweep by SHG as Slick leads him. Dohar blocking, then everybody comes to pit road. That allowed those two to pull away.
Bolton Mordog, right?
Yeah. And then here comes Dohar with a hefty run of speed on the outside. 18 throws the block. That gets everybody stacked up. And then the 43 takes the lead for a brief moment.
Diego.
Yep. More pit stops. The Bolt misses pit road. That ends his race. And then at the front of the field, the 37 of Track Bar throws
No, that's Diego. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Right, Track Bar throws the block on Diego. Diego hits the wall. His race is over. He needed a win, an event win, to get Petty Esports in the race. But it was all 14 of Slick. Stayed out of trouble and gets the race sweep. The pole and the victory. The first ever sweep this season. Okay.
All right.
So to get clarification, because I know technically Jermaine is 9th, not 10th, because the other one, but they still finished 1 point ahead, or how many points were they ahead of? Okay, that's fine. I know, because you look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, there's 1 point, but then it's like, well, they had an event win. Right. Mm. Gotcha. Okay. Yep.
Yep. Do you want me to pull this? Okay. It was the last race to lock into the playoffs for the Xbox drivers at Daytona, and JRM Dohar was ready to go on that front road, but it would be SHG Slick out to the lead early after SHG swept the poles in both races.
That's right, but then quickly to the outside goes the 88 of Dohar for Junior Motorsports, and another Chevrolet Mordog taking the lead before caution came out, as on the outside, a big wreck with garbage involved.
JRM Dohar back up front, getting a push there from the Bull. You see everyone swap around there a little bit as a block was thrown there, multiple blocks throughout the night, but JRM Dohar would stay steady up front as pit stops would then go underway.
Everyone fans out getting to pit road, and that allowed these two to pull out to a hefty lead of Bolt and Mordog, but that quickly evaporated.
Dohar would come back to try and get that lead with a push from Wow That's Garbage. A little bit of contact between a couple of those drivers as they accordioned back there, and they would come around there, and it would be Diego who would try and lead some laps in the Xbox race.
Short time at the front for Diego, because then it was time for more pit stops, and the man in the 18 needs an event win, or hasn't had a win this season, but he misses pit road, completely misses it there, ruins his chance at a win.
Unfortunate break for the Bull. A strong run was going for him. That would hand the lead over in a battle for Track Bar and Diego. Diego loses it there, contact with the wall, and there goes Diego's chance at that win, also needing to lock in.
Petty Esports unfortunately done for the regular season, as it was all the 14 of SHG Slick as he sweeps the race with the pole and the race win.
SHG collecting that win in Xbox. Also the win in PlayStation for Stuart Haas Gaming, the first team to sweep both races. Another great run by JRM Dohar in second.
As we look back to the field, number 6 is Jacob Kerr, and that finishing position just enough to get Jermaine Gaming into that playoff position as we go postseason racing.
And rounding out the field, 12th for Skirt Bush there in Ganassi Gaming. Mr. Track Bar in 13, and tough break for J Mac Attack in RCR rounding out the field.
So we look at your unofficial official standings for the postseason. Penske Esports leading flag to flag in the regular season with 2 event wins. Also with 2 event wins, Roush Fenway Gaming, and Junior Motorsports consistent without an event win, still up there in 4th.
And there it was, the cutoff line. Jermaine Gaming just barely sneaking in there in that 9th position. JTG with that event win, though, in that 10th spot. And there you have it, 11th through 14th. The teams not competing for a championship as we get ready to go championship racing RCR, Hendrick and Petty as well as Ganassi. Next race, though, we'll see in just a few weeks at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Wednesday, September 11th, coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune in live on Twitch and Facebook as we get ready to go racing for a championship. We'll see you guys then. Cool.
Yes. Either or.
Yeah, either one works. Sweet. That works. You gonna pull it in?
Playoff spots on the line in the final regular season race for the eNASCAR Heat Pro League at Daytona. Nick Jobs, Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club, got the rally cap on, trying to get his team above the cut line, but leading them to green in PlayStation, it was all Hot Rod.
He'd be challenged there by the Bear, who wanted that top position there, and Pennzoil looking to weave his way through the front there as they finally break out of that single file draft.
But Jobs' run would end right here as he gets on the apron, gets loose, slams in the outside of Rowdy, causing a big accident on the front straightaway. Season over for the 25.
You can see the disappointment on that driver's face there, but we go back racing and more contact would take place. The Bear, Mike RPM, and Pennzoil, some of those involved, go sliding through the infield.
And then here we go, check out riding on board with Sloppy Joe as he tries to get ahead of the cutoff line.
Dude, oh my God, dude, I beat Jobs and Cabo like 5 or 6 spots. Yes, 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 great job, yes, yes, good run.
Solid fourth place finish for Sloppy Joe, hoping to get RCR above the cut line, but at the end of the race, it was all that guy, Hot Rod, getting the win for SHG.
SHG sweeping. A great race for them. Fluffy rallies back to that second place finish, and a great run by Mike RPM in 5th.
Solid run, but they needed an event win as Slade would come home 6th, Parker 7th, and then the Bear, quiet but a consistent top 10.
JRM Kepper rounds out that top 10 after being involved in that late race incident, and Pennzoil, after being up front a lot of the race, comes home in 13th.
So here's your official Xbox race highlights as Dohar would try to get his team solid points going into the postseason, but on the pole, they swept it. It's another SHG car, this time it's Slick.
Slick with a great run, but JRM Dohar wanted that top position. He gets some help there by Mordog as they try to take the lead away there, and JRM Dohar would slide down, but contact from the back of the field would send some cars spinning.
Garbage involved with that as he started in the top 5, and then the battle at the front ensued. How about the block by Dohar trying to hold off the run for the Bolt?
The Bolt had a great run, but pit stops would ensue. Everyone would come down pit road. That would recycle everyone through and leave the Bolt and Mordog to battle for that win.
They pulled out to a hefty lead, but the backpack caught them right back, and here comes the 88 with a full head of steam. Garbage pushing him toward the front, but then they stack up behind the 18.
Contact there, but you'd see Diego try and get out front of the Bolt to lead some laps. He needed that event win to lock his team of Richard Petty Motorsports into the playoffs, but the Bolt here would shuffle through, and we would see pit stops get ready to happen here. But the Bolt, it would not work out for him. He would overshoot pit road, and his night would be over.
Tough break to lose the race there, and then at the front, Track Bar and Diego were on board, but Diego gets loose, hits the inside wall. He needed to get an event win, his race and season coming to a close.
Disappointment on that driver's face, but SHG Slick started up front. He would glide to a victory. Another one for SHG Gaming, collecting that top spot. The first team to sweep both races for Stuart Haas Gaming, JRM Dohar, coming home in that second spot.
Your winner at Charlotte, Shell V-Power, coming home 3rd, and HD started shotgun on the field with a top 5.
And 2 top 5s for Richard Petty Motorsports as well with Diego. But you see Go Fast Matt there in that 9th position and the Bolt in 10th.
Rounding out your field, Casey, Skirt Bush, Track Bar, and J Mac Attack for RCR couldn't quite back up the run by Sloppy Joe.
And if we take a look at the standings, it is time to go racing for a championship. Team Penske up top there with those 2 event wins and overall total points there. And you take a look a little bit farther back, Levine Family Gaming in 5th with that event win as well, and Wood Brothers in 7th.
Then there's the cutoff line, and Germain Gaming would get in as the team before with no event win. JTG Doherty Throttlers, the last team in points, and then 11th through 14th are teams that will not be able to run to the championship because it all starts in 3 weeks' time, Wednesday, September 11th, right here on Twitch and Facebook. And YouTube coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. Eastern at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We hope you'll join us as we start the run toward a championship.